Blinkers go on today, ran third, and the Bart Cummings behind an emerging star in Surprise Baby.
Yeah, over 2,500 metres in that race, but, you know, relatively quick back up, and that was...
Past the first ballot, Claudes needs to win. $3.60 the field here, so $3.60 available for Wolf to win the Coonji and make its way into the Caulfield Cup. And Yulong Prince, the other horse.
As them racing in the Coonji, Push and Shapes began really well on the outside of Ocean X. They matched motors in the early stages. Wolf is running the gate hard as well, and also midterm. Sin to Win is forcing forward, and speed shown from Nelson got to about 6th. Yulong Prince 7th, and they were followed by top of the rib Kawaya at the back Spanish Steps. So it's Nelson given a little bit of a breather at the half mile on the railway side by a length to Wolf, a length midterm. Then Sin to Win, 2 for the back, Push and Shapes. Around it now is top of the range Ocean X, 6th the inside in traffic once again from Yulong Prince. Kawaya set alight, then Murakeb, and Spanish Steps is tracking Kawaya coming up towards the turn. 500 to go. Wolf puts it to Nelson and goes to the front. Sin to Win whacking away, top of the range running on midterm, followed by Yulong Prince. Push and Shapes. Kawaya is the widest into the straight. 300 to go. Wolf goes for home, 2.5 lengths top of the range. Sin to Win. Ocean X back to the inside, then Yulong Prince. Kawaya. Wolf getting weary at the 200, top of the range the threat, followed by Kawaya. Ocean X badly got held up. It's Wolf top of the range together at the 100. Wolf and top of the range, stride for stride. Wolf digs in and earns a place in the big one Saturday. Big top of the range. Kawaya for third from Sin to Win, then Yulong Prince. Goodness me, it was an absolute wreck for Ocean X on the inside, a demolition derby on the rails, followed by Push and Shapes, and behind those horses, Nelson, Spanish Steps, midterm, and a gap to Murakeb last.
The Caulfield Cup just got a whole lot more interesting because Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott have got a runner in the Caulfield Cup. And the first time for 23 years we'll have a Coonji winner having a crack at a Caulfield Cup. And you go back and have a look at history, double figures at $14 for the Cadenars Jewellers Blue Sapphire Stakes. The Cadenars Jewellers Blue Sapphire Stakes. She's a filly, a formality, a filly winning 2 years ago, written by the Blue Dogs.
And away they go. Pretty good line as well. Anna Heat, a touch slow towards the inside, is going to try and drive through. Little Contra began quickly with Zar Sun, and also Dubious the outside. Pushing up is Nakovi as well. It's a good charge. Anna Heat is joining in as well. Brooklyn Hustle behind those horses. Settling down Nakovi, the outside of Zar Sun, in front at the 850. They were followed by Anna Heat in third, and then came Dubious out wider in the light blue from Brooklyn Hustle. Then Little Contra, Condos Express, and Accelerates in a line, a length and a quarter, Excess Funds, followed by Strasbourg, the inside of Viking Warrior. So the leader, Zar Sun for Clark, up towards the corner, just in front of Nakovi, a length and a quarter. Dubious at the 400 metres. Little Contra very deep coming into it. Also there Accelerates. Anna Heed behind them with Brooklyn Hustle. Condos Express from Viking Warrior waited with, then Excess Funds and Strasbourg in the straight across the track. Anna Heed drives through, approaching the 200 metres and takes the lead. Anna Heed by a length. Brooklyn Hustle. Little Contra still coming, and then Nakovi. Anna Heed is pumping away with 100 metres to go. A length and a half in front of Brooklyn Hustle. Little Contra, and Anna Heed won the Blue Sapphire. Second very close. Little Contra's run a huge race with Brooklyn Hustle. Photo there. Then for fourth, Nakovi. Condos Express involved with Dubious. Accelerates never came on. Viking Warrior, Strasbourg, Excess Funds, and Zar Sun got tired.
Huge win to Anna Heed up on the inside. Damien Lane wins, and isn't this girl a valuable filly now? That's her fourth win from 10 starts. Pete and Paul Snowden, the trainers. Damien Lane, that's a sweet ride. She's a filly by Fastnet Rock out of a Group 1 winner in Rostover. And Anna Heed is going to put her name up in lights with a dominant
positions a little bit as well. So again, another race you'd need to go back and look at a few times, but you can't take any.
Got the Craven Plate. I've got Happy Clapper on top from Lifeless, Ordinary, Sammed Out, Stampede. But for me, this is like a Rubik's Cube race. I'd be very interested
for him as far as this is the race he can win. He's third up now. He's 2,000 metres. Dry track's okay for him. I think Tally might be the danger, number 5. He's a trained, I reckon he's...
The gates, they're off and racing now. Dance really revved up out of the gate. Sammed Out jumped well together with Stampede, White Out. Harper's Choice is going forward. The pace is pretty genuine early here. Stampede's going to roll forward from the outside with Harper's Choice right there from Samadout, then the Candy Man. Dance just being restrained a bit. Happy Clapper's caught wide early, pushing in a more prominent role. Tally dressed back and a couple of lengths off to Life Less Ordinary. So Stampede finds the front here from Harper's Choice, and Samadout will have to do it with a trail today in third. Looks as though he's staying off the fence, and the Candy Man slides through. So Happy Clapper's caught a bit deep at this point. Dance holds her spot one off the fence on the outside of Tally, and Life Less Ordinary is last of all, so Berry couldn't get in, and he goes forward on the favourite, and the 9-year-old Happy Clapper's going to take the lead a long way from home. Happy Clapper takes the lead away from Stampede. Put your hand up if you saw this coming. 2 lengths away to Harper's Chaudhry's last of all. Plenty happening here, and the veteran Happy Clapper shows the way by a half to Stampede. Hieronymus is not going to let him get it easy. He's really building up the revs here on Stampede, going after the 9-year-old. Then Harper's Choice from Samadout, the Candy Man Tally. Further back to Dance. Life Less Ordinary travels, but is still last, top of the straight. Happy Clapper held together. Stampede's flat to the board to the outside. Happy Clapper comes up the riser, half in front to Stampede. Samadout staying on. Life Less Ordinary. He needs a run desperately. Tally keeps him in a pocket, and he's coming hard. Happy Clapper in front from Tally. The outside going to second. Happy Clapper in front from Tally, and Happy Clapper giving a big round of applause. What a win! Happy Clapper wins the Craven Plate from Tally, followed by Samadout and Life Less Ordinary. Stiff, he didn't get out. Then Dance from Stampede, the Candy Man, and Harper's Choice.
What a ride by Tommy Berry. Balls of steel to take off when he was going to be caught 3 wide. All the talk was about who was going to lead and how much pressure there was. Stampede and Samadout. Tommy took the bull by the horns and said, I'm taking the lead. And this brave grand campaigner, one of Sydney's favourite gallopers, has staved them off and has won the Craven Plate. He will get a warm reception when he comes back. Tommy Berry. Wow. He's with Bernie.
Tommy, that was... And I would definitely be giving her a chance. She should improve after that last start performance, and she looks well placed today. But she's in the right race for me to put her on top as well today. I also thought Hush Writer hasn't taken a step backwards. He's been up for some time, but he still looks as though he's holding.
I'll go with Hush Rider, hoping that he does get left alone in front on this dry track, which is more suitable for him here today. Thought he stuck on well on an unsuitable track last time. Young Star, it's her time to perform. She ran so well in the Melbourne Cup last year when she stepped up in distance. So
for the running of the St Ledger Stakes, 2,600 metres ahead of them, and the gates are back and they're off. And Wide Out Come Play With Me jumped okay together with Hush Rider. Centre Gates Cariff was one of the first out with Sir Charles Road, Young Star, and Valak's pretty handy as well. So this is an intriguing go for the lead. Nobody's really declared it as yet. Sir Charles Road and Valak towards the inside. Wide Out Hush Rider and Come Play With Me. Abdullah's quite happy to send this forward, Come Play With Me. And they're the two that are going to take the lead. Hush Rider from Come Play With Me now as they turn out of the straight. Valak and Sir Charles Road wind up in off. Here's the last one. They lead the back now. And Hush Rider getting it pretty cheap up front as they start the run down the side section of the course. So Clark's had it pretty easy up front here on Hush Rider from Come Play With Me. Now Patrick Aaron gets going, followed then by Valak as the field really starts to bunch up there. It's Carousel going up into third, followed then by Valak just behind. Then came Sir Charles Road, Azuro, Our Sentry, the deepest, Garlic Chieftain behind it, followed by Young Star, then Karzov, and Patrick Aaron's last. Boy, they're tightly bunched here at the 550. Hush Rider, it's a real rack and stack go here by Clark on Hush Rider. Now he tries to kick around the turn from Come Play With Me. Cariff, then came Azuro. Valak back on the inside from Sir Charles Road. Young Star's looking for room. Down to the 250, and Hush Rider's got a tremendous kick. It slips 3 lengths clear from Come Play With Me. Then came Cariff. Young Star can't get out of a pocket, but Hush Rider's gone further in front, and the rulership 5-year-old's going to destroy them. Hush Rider, the Japanese bred by a mile to Cariff. I think Sir Charles Road third in front of Young Star, not getting much room. Then came Mazuro, Patrick Aaron closing off. Then Come Play With Me. Further back to Gaelic Chieftain, Valak, Cars Off, and Our Century.
Hush Rider leads all the way to win a St Ledger. Number 9, Hush Rider, Tim Clark for Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott, 6.10 and 2.40. Cara 14. And Sir Charles Road there. You can throw a blanket over the ones behind Hush Rider, who's won brilliantly today in the St Ledger.
Yeah, and he lands big bets there late as well, into $6 there at the finish. And no, what a beautiful front running ride. Geez, he can ride a leader, this Tim Clark. He just and that had the hide to fight on. So Charles Road just keeps kicking. The race wasn't run to suit Young Star, and she could be back on track when she gets more of a staying test.
Let's have a chat now to the winning jockey.
About Hush Rider. He's won a Newcastle Cup and now he's won a St Ledger.
Yeah, it was a gift. It was run to script, put it that way, and in fact more so. I thought he'd get an uncontested lead, but this was just ridiculous. This race was over at the 1200 metre mark. This horse just loves dry tracks, and his form on dry track is faultless, and he run well. Geez, an underrated horse, this Carif, I tell you. I know it's easier to cover ground when you're not running hard, but I like the way he's stuck on there, and I really think that's a return to form from Young Star. That style of race did not suit her, and she proves that she just wants 1.5 miles and further, and she could easily run well in another Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, the sire of Suzo, he's at...
Bjorn, how's Cuddles today?
Yeah, she's really well. She looks good. I think the preferred track's probably Rock Hard, so she gets that today, and she's a chance.
That I thought really stood out from the pack. Fiesta is on top. She looked absolutely fantastic. She's taken some really nice natural steps of improvement into her 4-year-old year, and I just think this is going to be a really big preparation for her. She's going to be hitting the line strongly. Obviously, Brutal has to go into my numbers. He hasn't gone backwards at all. He's only gone
to 6 and 13. I just can't go against the quality of Brutal here. I know it could be a dangerous race for him with a grand final.
Out onto the track. Brutal is moving out freely and looking great. Michael Hawkes, you're here for the Sydney Stakes on the road to the Golden Eagle. The effort in trying to get people out of the Theatre of the Horse and through the tunnel is becoming more and more difficult, and it's going to be near impossible when we get to the Everest, which isn't too far away. We are inside an hour away from the world's richest race on turf, and this is the Sydney Stakes, the consolation.
Yeah, I can tell you, Greg, it's very...
And the gates are open now. They're off, and Easy Eddie in the centre jumped away well together with Dosraki, and Sir Plush is going forward. Looks as though Sandbar's with him as well. Home of the Brave is pushing forward, and Brutal's got into a great spot right behind them. Then Champagne Cuddles further back to Jonker from Redouble. Right off the course there, and the white cap is Dothraki together with Redouble. Fiesta gets back from Brave Song. Deprive is well back, and Kaspersky's back with it as well. 7.50 to run, and Home of the Brave goes through to take the lead from Sir Plush, and Brutal gets closer on the inside of Easy Eddie, followed by Sandbar out deep, then Champagne Cuddles, Redouble, Jonker back on the fence from Dothraki, Fiesta awkwardly placed from Brave Song, Deprive, and Kaspersky, but Home of the Brave tries to kick at the top of the straight by 3 on Sir Plush, then Easy Eddie, Brutal trying to wind up between them, he's really picking up the bottle now, Brutal, Sandbar and Deprive down the outside, Home of the Brave tackled by Brutal, here's Deprive the outside, Deprive is going after Brutal, Champagne Cuddles between them, but Deprive hits the lead. Deprive does it again. 6 out of 6 at Randwick. Beats either Champagne Cuddles or Brutal. Then came Redouble, Fiesta, Home of the Brave. Further back to Easy Eddie. Then Jonker, Kaspersky closing off late from Brave Song, Dothraki, Sandbar, and Sir Plush weakened to finish last. He's done.
Yeah, he does it again, all right. This is his turf. This is his track. 6 starts for 6 wins at Royal Randwick, unbeaten. And now at this distance of 1,200 metres at Randwick, he's 3 from 3. And he has beaten a very good horse in Brutal and Champagne Cuddles. 2 horses that wouldn't have been out of place in an Everest. There's Deprive doing it all again.
Yeah, wow, he's what a record he's got here now, and he's got up there 1:8.62. They've run. Maybe Champagne Cuddles has outbobbed Brutal, who's just looking for third.
The Sydney Stakes. Now, keep in mind the Everest and Sydney Stakes runners can go to the Redzell Stakes on November 2 at Rose Hill and race for a massive bonus. The Everest horses can race for a $750,000 bonus by winning the Redzell. Brutal, of course, is going to the Golden Eagle. Now, let's talk about Deprived. Ramwick, 6 from 6.
Unbelievable. And his finishing speed here is just unbelievable because they haven't gone out as hard as in a couple of those 1,200 metre races, and to do it from the back was incredible. She was terrific again, little Champagne Cuddles. She just can't crack it for a win, but that's her go, I reckon. The blinkers on, fast 1,200 metre races, and she can win another big one. Look, I'm happy with... I wouldn't be happy if you back Brutal, taking the odds on, but I'm happy with his progression as far as he's looking... The sprinting edge is off him now, and Brave Song didn't have much luck in the straight there, no room to really extend. Fiesta was fantastic from the back.
She's the run of the race.
Yeah, she was very good.
The Protest never had a Brutal.
Yeah, he's a beautiful run. He sprinted very well for me at the top of the straight, but he sort of pluttered out at the 100 and held that the whole way to the line. So for 2 weeks' time, he's spot on. They just had a bit more turn of foot than him, with him being second up.
Glenn Schofield. The view from the stabling area and also the view from out the front, and there's going to be a parade of jockeys very, very shortly with the runners and the placards of each and every runner on Victorian, but he's here on Parada and he's got the inside alley. There's Kerrin McAvoy in the red colours. He's the only jockey to know what it is like to win an Everest. There's Mark. OK, so they're going to introduce them one by one.
And Parada probably won't be that far back as well. So Santa Ana Lane on top for me from Parada, then Classique Legend, and of course Arcadia Queen. They were my principal.
Gerardo's back out to his best today of 7. Yes, into his lowest of the day at 9. Redzell, very, very popular, as you would expect, a $10 chance. Sunlight, long while today. And the two roughies in the tab Everest are Nature Strip and Trekking at $31 each of 2. Greg?
Well, he's proved he's back from Hong Kong with a great first up run. Now that he's got the speed up front that suits him, he's got terrific second up stats. He's a ruling track record holder, and it's up to Zara to get him into the clear at the right time now.
But he's on his way to the gates, this 3-year-old colt by Rubik. Yes.
He's got the blinkers on today. I love his emergence in this race. The Golden Rose was a top run. They run time there. I'm not sold on the draw, but geez, if he has luck, he's in the finish here.
Yeah, exactly. Right, nicely. Pierata being one of them. I'm going to put him on top. From Santa Ana Lane, who paraded in excellent order. Arcadia Queen has come on leaps and bounds, so she's in the top 4 as well. And the 10 in her time, I thought, has turned up as...
Just market from tab here. I can tell you in the last 11 minutes, 600,000 has been invested here, fixed odds on this race. We've still got 3 3/4 minutes to go, so we're starting to get a little bit busy. Santa Ana Lane here remains the 460 favourite over Arcadia Queen. I noticed the NOP, Santa Ana Lane's got to 4.
Yeah, 11-1-2-4. I loved her parade. Arcadia Queen, I hope she's travelling around the turn here into the clear and we see something special. She's got a super sprinter to hold off here in Santa Ana Lane. Parada gets all the favours from inside, and I'll put in Nature Strip. He might just shock a few here, although I'm very wary of this 3-year-old. Yes.
But those clouds...
He's the last to go in. The ladder's on for the Everest, the tab Everest, and the gates are back. They're off. Had a great start. Sunlight Classique Legend have jumped well, together with Nature Strip going forward. Redzell's right there. Arcadia Queen is very handy as well within her time. This is a great go. Up in the early stages with Sunlight pushing forward. Nature Strip the outside. Redzell will just take a tug back into 3rd, followed by In Her Time. Arcadia Queen's in 5th, 2 for the back, 2 Classique Legend. They're followed off the track to Elise going forward from Parada. Yes. 10 Sovereign, Santa Ana Lane, and Trekking's the last one. Nature Strip got to the fence, leads by a length on Redzell. Sunlight back to 3rd. Arcadia Queen's pushing out. In Her Time is next. Elise right behind from Classique Legend, and further back to Parada creeping into it. Santa Ana Lane 5 off them, looking for room, getting to the outside now. Nature Strip at the 200, 2 in front to Redzell. yes, yes is winding up. Further back then to trekking. And Sandra Lane, the Colt. Yes, yes, yes takes the lead. Sandra Lane is charging at the end. Yes, yes, yes wins the Everest. Beats Sandra Lane. Trekking third, followed by Nature Strip and Parada. Then Classique Legend. Further back to Elise, Acadia Queen, Redzell, Sunlight in her time. And 10 Sovereign. Glenn Boss wins another big one.
A 3-year-old has won the 3rd edition of the TAV Everest. He takes the large share of the $14 million, but all of a sudden he becomes something like a $40 or $50 million colt in stud value, and he's broken the track record. Santa Ana Lane's track record, who chased Yes, Yes, Yes home today. He ran 1:7:45. They've run 1:7:32. Glenn Boss, he's won 3 Melbourne Cups on Mackay Diva, creating history. He's created more history here today. And Chris Waller, his first runners in the race, he gets a win. Glenn Boss has climbed the mountain, Bernie.
Bossman, what a spring. This is extraordinary. Richest race on turf in the world. The only 3-year-old in the field. Well done. Stuck for words, Bossman? I'm happy to watch.
Wow, that's huge. Yeah, it's what a feeling. Oh my God, this takes me back to 05. This is Bernie, I can't believe what's going through my body right now.
You look electric.
I feel electric. I swear to God, I don't know what to say. My body is just it's on fire right now. Oh, Jesus, thank you, Chris. Oh, my God. Thanks to Chris Waller. Putting his faith in me, this is just... Oh, my God, there's so many people to thank. Beautiful colt here. Wow, what are you worth now, champion?
At least 40 million, I'm thinking.
He's quality. Like I said to you when I galloped him last week, he made them look like they... I swear to God, Bernie, I couldn't believe the electronic turn of speed he showed. He made them look... And when I got there, I thought I got there too early because he just... I was wary of these great sprinters. You can't give them too much start. Well, he had to have, mate. He flew, so... Well, I've got so many things, geez, I have so much them to thank so much.
Dad's on top of the Everest?
Yeah, Dad feels pretty well on top of the Everest right now, but to Liam...
Career, how can you describe this moment with the Everest?
It's just behind number 1. I won't rate it, but it's just behind number 1, yeah. So, yes, I haven't given the race a lot of thought, and although we bought a slot 3 years ago, this is our first time we've had a runner, but as soon as I saw the race run for the first time, I said, we need to change our model, we need to get some sprinters, because this is what people are talking about. Everybody can relate to every horse in this race. They raced 2 weeks ago, they raced 3 weeks ago, they'll race again in a month's time. People want to see that. It's like the Olympic champion sprinters turning up in the other races, world champs and everything, and the special games they have for the athletes. People want to relate to an athlete, and we're doing that with horses. And it's a unique race, and Golden Slip is special, but these horses can run in it every year, and look after them, you can see what they do to you.
When did you know that you had a horse like Yes, 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 a 3-year-old who could tackle this race?
About 12 minutes ago.
You were still doubting whether he...
Well, it's a big decision to make. You've got a big international stud involved in the horse, who have backed my judgment. You've got the owners of the horse that are backing the horse, backing my judgment, and the slot holders. So.
Exactly right. Well, that's in your hands. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. And thanks to everybody in racing. It's a great sport. Well done. Good on you.
Back to third, Acadia Queen's pushing out. In her time is next, Elise right behind from Classique Legend, and further back to Parada creeping into it. Santa Ana Lane 5 off them, looking for room, getting to the outside now. Nature Strip at the 200, 2 in front, the Redzell. Yes, yes, yes is winding up. Further back then to trekking, and Santa Ana Lane lane. The colt, yes, 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 takes the lead. Centre of the lane is chanting at the end. Yes, 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 wins the Everest. Beats centre of the lane. Trekking third, followed by Nature Strip and Parada. Then Classique Legend. Further back to Elise, Acadia Queen, Redzel, Sunlight in her time. And 10 Sovereign, Glen Boss wins another big one.
So did you see that time as they went past the post? 1:07.32, the fastest time ever run at Royal Randwick over the 1200. We've just spoken to Rob about the ownership and the back...
Turned and then I couldn't believe how easy I was going as we got to the rise. And as you see by his splits there where he's 10.5, like he just put the race to bed very quickly. And Ronnie, you know, you have these moments on these animals every now and then, Ronnie, and it's very rare that when I went for that furlong, it was like, holy shit, this is like, it's one of them moments where you go, wow, that was, you know the time you're running, you know you're running 10. It's like, you just like to feel it. Is like, you're going past very good horses very quickly. It's unbelievable.
At first, you know, we all get carried away with draws and things, and personally, I thought his was the worst draw in the race. But as it turned out, it was just gold.
Yeah, well, I'm not a massive subscriber to the draws. I'm more worried. I'm more interested in what the draws around me. You understand?
Yep.
That's what intrigues me. What they're going to do with their draw, not so much what I'm. And then I sort of figured out what they're going to do, and then that paints a picture for me. And then
to run a 3-year-old to run that time was just breaking a course record, smashing a course record from one of the best sprinter in the land, centre in the lane. That's a great advertisement for yourself.
Has a 3-year-old...
This moment with the Everest.
Super. Just the winner surprised me how quick he went. Actually, with his weight, when he let rip, he just put a little brake on me, and he ran really gallant, my guy, but I just couldn't reel him in.
Josh Parr, trekking.
Oh, it's so much fun. He's run really well. Well done to the team. They prepared him in fantastic order, and I'm really excited, and I didn't even ride the winner.
Tim Clark, Nature Strip.
Wonderful effort. Obviously ran him along, and done a good job to be still kicking late, and just have to do a little bit of extra work early to clear them, but ran very, very well.
Tommy Berry, Pirata.
Yeah, just got held up till probably the 200 metres, and once he got out, he was doing his best work late, but the race was already finished. Everything that finished in front of him already had their momentum, so he's run very well.
Nashra Willer, Classic Legend.
I was pretty luckless. Never got a run at all when I needed it. Look, I was in a beautiful spot down the back, and when you sort of come up outside me, it was too soon to come out, and I was sort of pushing from the inside out. So I've rode for luck as you would, and I just didn't get any.
Hugh Bowman, Elise.
Yeah, she was a bit free in the early stages. I was hoping to follow, yes, but I was going to have to wrestle to follow him, but all credit to the winner, and she ran a race.
Kerry McAvoy, Redzel.
Travelled nice. I was a little bit worried as soon as we straightened. When I asked him for an effort, he was just even pace. So he's shown better than what he did there today, even though it was still a gallon run.
Brenton Abdullah in her time.
Look, the result was a little bit disappointing, but I didn't think her run was too bad. We went up in a good spot early, and then mid-race, sort of James just wanted to force the issue a bit on Arcadia, and it just got us both out of our rhythm, and we both struggled from that on.
Luke Curry, Sunlight.
Yeah, she was all in all disappointing. She's in a nice spot. She was in trouble cornering.
James McDonald, Arcadia Queen.
It was a wrap the way she presented. She jumped extremely well, got into a lovely position. Got a severe check at about the 300-metre mark, put her out of business, and obviously she's a mare that needs a bit of space to wind into her race, so it was out of bizzo from there.
Ryan Moore, 10 Sovereigns.
Yeah, look, he was disappointed. He was never comfortable.
OK, and Ronnie and Lizzie will analyse each and every runner.
Gave me so much confidence about this colt, and I said it after the Golden Slipper. I said I want to win the Everest with him, and he should never have raced as a 2-year-old. Like, when he had his first start, Darren Weir said to me, I'm only running this horse because I have to. He said he's just shown me so much at home, I have no choice. He said he's not a 2-year-old, he should never be there. And then he kept on saying throughout the preparation, every time I look at this horse in the yard, I'm scratching my head and saying, why is he even here? So I just knew that he was going to come on from his 2-year-old year to his 3-year-old year. And it was also the blinkers, that factor, that X factor. You know, once again, Darren Weir said, first time he raced him, he said, this is a blinkers horse if ever I've seen a blinkers horse, and we held them back. They were going to be on in the Magic Millions. and we were forced to scratch. So we always had that up our sleeve, and I always thought there was 1 or 2 lengths that he would find with the blinkers, and that was all that was required. If you looked at the ratings, you looked at the numbers, you looked at where he was in the weights, he only needed that little bit of improvement on top of obviously the natural improvement coming from second up to third up to be competitive, and so it proved.
What was it like being up there?
Incredible. Like, it's
have you seen this yet?
No, I haven't seen that footage. You know, like the ownership group, you know, against the older sprinters, that's unique. And like, I think every 3-year-old from this point forward is going to chase this race. And I genuinely believe, like, in the history of Australian racing, there's been no more significant win for any prospective stallion prospect than what Yes 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 was able to achieve yesterday.
James Cummings sat in that chair a few weeks ago, and he said, when talking about Bivouac and the path he might take, it went through his mind, what race is going to be replayed more, a Caulfield Guineas or any Group 1 race or this race?
That's right.
Now, this is going to be on air for the next 12 months.
Yep.
Until someone else wins it or you win it again. How many times have you watched Redzel win the first two Everests?
Yeah. That's right.
1,000 times?
Yeah.
That would be.
So the bottom line is it's the most marketable race to win, and it's also now globally, I think, recognised as the ultimate test of speed. And what do people look for in stallions? It's speed. So
Yes 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 beats Santa Ana Lane. Let's start with Santa.
He was brilliant. He was brilliant. I think a few were nervous about the inside draw, and that may have been his undoing, taking nothing away from the winner. That he was scorching, but he's out. But he's just, you know, when you, like Bossy said, a 10-5, it's hard to react to that. But you've got to admire the way he lifted and did his thing, running through the line. Tracking, what a great result for the slot holders there, the Melbourne Racing Club, because, you know, he was a long shot of the field. He got over racing and cost himself a length or two there back in the field, and he was terrific. He's run the race of his life, the leader. Nature Strip. He did himself proud there, and
he runs 1200, but he doesn't run a strong 1200.
Yeah,
he lasted, but he's better at the start of his races than he is at the ends, which is always going to make him vulnerable.
Of course, but then you make your own luck. Sometimes you can find a track that suits those
absolutely,
horses.
But I'm just saying, I think he's now ticked that box because it was high pressure, and he was able to sustain that and still run fourth.
Can we go back and have a look at Parada and Classic Legend?
Yes.
I think they were the two talking points mid-pack.
Exactly.
Classic Legend was unlucky. It sets him up beautifully for the Golden Eagle. And Lesbridge has told you that he wants to get into a mile.
Yeah, he does, and I think that run shows that he could well get to a mile. He did look the unlucky run of the race. He's $7 into $5 for the Golden Eagle. I can understand that, because he just settled so well, and everywhere Nash went, the grey here, he's
sprint too hard,
got nowhere to go there. He comes out, Elise gives him no room. He's got to come back. This is a very vital stage of the race, and Parada's the same. I think more so Classic Legend unlucky than Parata, but it's racing. I'll leave Acadia Queen to you. What do you say about Acadia Queen?
That she's obviously better over longer trips. I think that's what James McDonald sort of indicated, and that's what I think Chris indicated as well. I think everyone has always thought she's better over a longer trip.
We wanted to see these Everest horses come through. Now, we had that the Silver Eagle, which has provided us with the inevitable for Seeker and Mizzy. The Everest, we wanted Arcadia Queen, Classic Legend and Sunlight to come through unscathed. Now, Sunlight I'll get to in a moment. Brutal we'll get to in a moment. Arcadia Queen and Classic Legend. As far as going to the Golden Eagle, can you back them in that race? Classic Legend, certainly. Arcadia Queen, surely. There's now a doubt in your mind.
Yeah, there's a doubt on that market. There's a doubt on that market. You know, those three favourites are all coming off 1,200-metre runs into a 50.
Race, of course, is the fact we've got slot holders operating. Enticing Star was in the Chris Waller Racing slot originally, didn't perform on its return to the track this spring. Yes, 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 off the back of a couple of seconds to Bivouac, took the spot and then took the spoils.
Fantastic effort. Look, it was a great race. It's the best sprint race in the world this year. Kudos to New South Wales that put this race together, and it has captured a lot of people's imagination, I think, and brought a lot of new people into racing. As far as the way the race was run, well, they've run a track record. Nature Strip didn't jump brilliantly, beautifully ridden. He went well yesterday, and I think Chris Waller's got him on target. Classic Legend, huge in defeat. Yes, 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 great ride from Bossy.
Yeah, it was a great ride. I think Nature Strip being in the race actually made it. Like, it strung him out, because the previous 2 years, different types of tracks, but I think he really made the race yesterday.
Pick up the closing stages of the Everest.
Centre of the lane is chanting at the end. Yes, yes, yes. Wins the Everest. Beats centre of the lane.
So Glenn Boss had said he wanted to follow Classic Legend, and that's exactly the spot he was able to get a card into the race beautifully. And then all credit to him, at the top of the straight, it and Centre and Lane were effectively paired off. There was a little bit, not interference for Centre and Lane, but the slightest of checks. But
Sander was following Elise into the race, and Elise just didn't take Sander deep enough into the straight, so he tried to edge out, and yes, 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 had the run, and Glenn Boss just shut the gate, and it was that little quick turn of foot that yes, 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 so that put the race away, and you know, Sander was unlucky, but you know, full credit to the ride on the winner.
Well, 0.13 off the track record that Centre and Lane set in last year's Premier Stakes, so Centre and Lane's effectively run to its best performance over that course of distance.
Yeah, no, he was terrific, and you're going to get good times with Nature Strip in the race. And look, outside of Classic Legend, the more I watch it,
the more unlucky he becomes.
So unlucky.
He was very, very unlucky. But the interesting, I suppose, view with this race as well, it confirms what we thought about the 3-year-olds. What a fantastic crop they are. Yes, yes, yes. There's a lot of talking points out of that as a consequence. Bossy in big races. Some of these old boys, Corey, go all right, apparently.
Yeah, like an old...
Just have the drop on him, he would have been the winner.
Probably, in hindsight, barrier 2, no favours for Sander and Lane. He would have been better placed, you know, 5, 6 or 7, where he could get that 3 wide trail into the race.
Parata either. He was a bit cluttered up as well. I think there was some excuses in there, but it's another race I need to watch a couple of times.
Absolutely.
But first few looks, I think Classic Legend was a huge run.
Will we get to see the best of him? Because he's off to Hong Kong.
Well, I think they're going to go to the Golden Eagle, aren't they? And then they're on to maybe perhaps Hong Kong, yeah.
So here's the market for the VRC Sprint Classic final day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival. Santa Ana Lane looking to defend its title from last year, and there was a really strong flow-through of horses that ran in the Everest, and this was their next target race, and it looks like that might be the case again.
I think that is the case. One
of the horses and Danline, that's what you want, and it was a fantastic race. Whether or not it's a Group 1, we'll leave that to all the authorities, but it's one of the best races.
It doesn't need to be called a Group 1. Anyone in Australia that watches that race knows that it's the best sprint race in the country at the moment.
It'd be the best sprint race in the world at this point, I think.
There you go. So whether it's called a Group 1 or not, the prize money's there, the status is there. I don't think it matters to a horse like Yes, Yes, Yes. If he doesn't win another race for the rest of his career, he'll still stand at stud in his first season for 50, 60, 70,000.
Yeah, you get a discount, do you?
I don't even get in.
Plenty still to get through.
Continue to step up and trip towards a derby. I loved his parade, could not fault him at all, and I'm happy to stick with him. So Huntley Castle on.
Of which horse isn't drifting here, so all of a sudden Miami Bound continues to go out. So this trend of the favourite before the race drifting has just, this is 4 from 4 here, and Warning's just holding its price as second favourite at $4.40. Thought of that, it's just out a little bit to $4.60. Miami Bound, the favourite now at $3.20 and heading out. So
Away they go at the 2,000 metres. Serengeti jumped away well with. We thought of that will lead after 300 metres, cross to the rails to lead by a length and a quarter. Serengeti, who gradually works up. Miraku just bobbing the head around at the moment. 1,000 marker. Thought of that, strides out by a length to Brilliant Venture at even tempo. A length and a half away. Miraku third, who's overdoing it. They were followed by Serengeti, 2 lengths Power Scheme. Creator. Then came Miami Bound, who'd spot the leader about 7. Warning second last, the outside of Huntley Castle. Thought of that at the 800 metres, 3/4 of a length, Brilliant Venture. A length and a quarter, Serengeti from Miraku as they really slacken up front. Power Scheme now pulls its way up 3 deep. Warning will be 4 deep shortly. Then Miami Bound, Creator, and Huntley Castle is at the end of the 600 metres. Thought of that, 3/4, Brilliant Venture approaching the turn. A length, Power Scheme, Serengeti as they soar
pull up. Miracle needs some room. Warning very deep coming into it with Miami Bound, followed by Huntley Castle and Creator. Thought of that into the straight at the 300 metres. Has a kick though. 2 lengths, 3 lengths. Brilliant Venture, Power Scheme. Then Warning, Miami Bound. Thought of that goes for home. 200 to go. 4, 5 lengths in front. Thought of that. This is going to be a demolition. Warning into second, but Thought of that. Wow, what a win. 4 lengths Warning. Brilliant Venture third. 4th Miami Bound from Huntley Castle. Creator, Power Scheme, Miracle. Serengeti has finished at the end of the field.
Linda Meach take a bow. She dictated on speed, but this is a serious colt. He's gone from a demolition down to Donald in a maiden. They put the blinkers on, and this colt, by So You Think, has gone to the next level. Thought of that thrashes them in the Caulfield Guineas and now starts to eyeball being one of the key runners as we go to the class.
At Donald at its previous start, it exploded at 1 by 8, and yesterday it just destroyed them on speeds. Linda Meach rated this perfectly, a 3 3/4 win. So we've had Cliff's Edge win this race. It then didn't run in the Derby. It went to the Vars and ran behind Aloysia. Polanski won this race and then won the Derby. They're the only horses recently that have broken 2.03 in this race and then kicked on.
Yeah, interesting with the daily sectionals, this race ranked #1. So actually early they were rolling quite quick. They were on, in terms of the raw numbers, they were on standard, which for the day was quick, and they've certainly come home quick that last section as well, the last 400 metres. So this was one of the better performances and wins of the day.
Oh, mate, I loved it. On a bike on straightening, and just the way that he ran through the line, I honestly thought he'd be the Derby winner on that win yesterday.
Linda Meach has described this horse as going from being a manual to now very much the automatic sports car.
But did you see what she said about the blinkers? The blinkers have had...
To the straight at the 300 metres. Has a kick though. 2 lengths, 3 lengths. Brilliant Venture, Power Scheme. Then Warning, Miami Bound. Thought of that goes for home. 200 to go. 4, 5 lengths in front. Thought of that. This is going to be a demolition. Warning into second, but Thought of that. Wow, what a win. 4 lengths.
Big day for Brace Sokolsky in the team.
Well, that was just the entree to a very, very fat main.
And Thought of that. So it reminds me a bit of Stylo Century, that sort of horse, the way he just gets out there and rolls at a really fast clip.
That 300 metre mark, when Linda just pushed the button to quicken like that. And what I was also really impressed with...
Saw us in Melbourne yesterday.
Gee, you had a big day.
Well, Finch got beat.
Oh, bad luck.
I got a blow about that.
Bad luck. This is your 3-year-old winning the Norman Robinson. Your colours again.
Yeah.
Which happened before the Everest, so you're already on a high.
Absolutely. And the amazing thing about this colt is he couldn't get out of his own way at the beginning of this preparation. Kieran and David loved him, and on his work, he worked like a group class horse, but he just wasn't producing it. They put the blinkers on at Donald in a lowly maiden there. He's won by 8. Stepped him up to 1.25 miles. He's won by, close to 4 going away, and he's down. And now he's second favourite for the Derby, and who's to say he can't go on to win that. I will speak to Kieran and David, though, because I do think there is some merit in looking at the McKinnon rather than the Derby. He's still a colt, so I've got that in the back of my mind, the residual value. I mean, it's ironic that you actually lose value when you win a Derby as a colt. It's a shame, really, for Australian breeding, but that's just the nature of the game. But
alluded to before the break, plenty of rain around here at Caulfield for the Ethereal Stakes, race number 6, and a change in favourite at the top. Celestial Falls, well named given the weather, has now been displaced by Vegas Jewel, who's the new favourite at $4. Celestial Falls $4.20 at one stage. There's about $1.50 between the two the other way. Gamay's at $8, Snap Dancer at $9.
A lot of beating here based on
15 of them racing. From barrier 1, Fiorente's Girl jumped away well, showing pace. Snap Dancer and Gamay. Contrition 4 deep. Celestial Falls is 5 and 6 deep, looking for a forward position. And Ocean Miss outside of her. 11 lasts behind those from Really Discreet, Song Brocade, Atame. They were followed by Vegas Jewel, presently Cape Leopard, Oriental Lily last as they climb the hill. 1,500 metres to run. Gradually Gamay is working up towards the lead, but Fiorente's Girl is going to boot up underneath underneath of her. Snap Dancer's right up there. Celestial Falls 3 and 4 wide at this stage from Ocean Mist. Then Levin Lass, Isola Comachina. A length Contrition now as that's all Lily Cape Leopard last. Celestial Falls got a cheap split there at the 750. Just in front of Atame. Ocean Mist now 3 deep. Fiorente's Girl behind those from Game 3 off the pace. A length Levin Lass, and then came Contrition. Isola Comachina, then Snap Dancer. Getting involved, Vegas Jewel only 4 off the lead now. Roused up from Song Brocade. Presently the fence, then Really Discreet, Cape Leopard, Oriental Lily. Up around the turn, Celestial Falls goes for home. Grabbed by Ocean Mist. They're stride for stride at the 300. Then Game a length and a half away. Vegas Jewel presenting an Oriental Lily down the outer. Ocean Mist moves up to Celestial Falls. Game makes a line of 3, and Vegas Jewel coming at the 100. It's Game, Celestial Falls, and Vegas Jewel digging in. Still Game from Vegas Jewel. Game holding on. Game beat Vegas Jewel. Third Celestial Falls. Fourth a photo. Ocean Mist or Song Brocade. Then Oriental Lily. Next to finish, Cape Leopard from Levin Lass. And presently, and then Atame, Fiorente's Girl, Isola Comachina, Really Discreet, Snap Dancer, and Contrition was at the end.
Oh, super win, a driving finish, and Game, trained by Archie Alexander and Declan Bates, will just be too strong. Though Vegas Knight, this filly by Shocking, made it really honest right on the line. It's a close finish, but Game, the Piero filly who ran second to Celestial Falls in the Oaks trial, has done a super job. And for Archie Alexander,
has been a little bit hit and miss in recent years, but we did have Set Square and Pino win this race, go on and win the Oaks, and Aristia was second to Very Elegant in this race last year.
Tactically messy early. I thought at this stage Ben Mellamy's sort of looking to get across, and I thought it was a great ride from Declan Bates on Game. He goes forward, and now he says, right, I've got my spot, and he lets the race unfold around him, and Ben Mellam's still looking around. I just wonder in hindsight if he might have been better off being proactive out and going and taking it up. The huge run in defeat from the runner-up, Vegas Jewel, because he's been back wide. He got shunted out even further.
Slowly run race, yeah, exposed early, but a very good run, stuck on very, very well. Thought he was the winner, or thought she was.
Vegas Jewel is clearly the horse we want to be following heading towards the Oaks. Just its third start yesterday. These Shockings, Simo, been talking about the declaration of wars in recent programs as well, but the Shockings are just eating it up at this distance.
I just thought Geordie could have showed a little bit more initiative at the start. If you look at the head-on.
Miss Leonidas and God of Thunder, there was 80 cents between them at one stage. There's only 20 cents now. A bit of money coming for God of Thunder as we get closer to the start of the race, but it's $3.70 and $3.90. They probably have about 75-76% between the two of.
The lead comfortably. God of Thunder got to third, and then came Badajoz, McLaren to fifth. Then came Intuition, Not Enough Effort. Crystal Dreamer, Tactical Advantage last. Miss Leonidas with a high cruising speed at the 650, 2 lengths Malibu Style. A length God of Thunder, 2.5 lengths Badajoz. Then came McLaren, Intuition, well back in the field, Not Enough Effort. Crystal Dreamer, Tactical Advantage. Miss Leonidas around the turn at the 400 metres. 2 lengths Malibu Style, a similar gap God of Thunder waited with. Then came Badajoz, Intuition, Not Enough Effort, and McLaren getting up on the inside. Miss Leonidas at the 200 metres, hands and heels, a length and a half, Malibu Style, and God of Thunder driving up on the inside. Miss Leonidas at the 100 from God of Thunder, Malibu Style, Badajoz, still Miss Leonidas just in front. Miss Leonidas, she'll win it. 1.5 length. Second God of Thunder, third Malibu Style, fourth Badajoz, fifth Tactical Advantage, then Crystal Dreamer, Intuition. Towards the end, second last, Not Enough Effort, and at the back of the field, McLaren.
She's too fast. It's a simple equation. She's just simply too quick for them. She did it at the front, she did it in the middle, and she was still brave enough to hold them off at the end. Great story for Sean Dwyer and his team up at Bendigo. They've got themselves a super mare who's been able to win a Group 2 sprint today. She's a really valuable I Am Invincible mare. Her earnings
in this race last year, but it had some EIPH issues, which will generally not allow you to win a race at that level. It backed up off a really good second in the Moya, Hutchie. We saw McLaren miss the kick. It jumped very awkwardly for Craig Williams, but it's basically gave Miss Leonidas a lead uninhibited, and it was all over from there.
Yeah, this is really, I mean, sometimes it looks simple, but Corey, lovely ride from Stevie Baxter to get, she's a quirky individual, Miss Leonidas, but he gets along with her well, stacked up the form around Nature Strip, and it was very very good. I was keen on God of Thunder. I thought it was terrific. In terms of how the race was run, exactly.
She was deserving of that Group 2 win, and she's going to be a very valuable broodmare as a daughter of
when you
Ireland.
look back at her, actually the run in the Moir, if you switch the barriers that day, I mean, her,
she probably wins.
Yeah, it was half a length in it. I know it's it's a bit guesswork, but her run was terrific against Nature Strip, and she's exactly the same type, isn't she? She's a jump sort of run and
let him go,
let her roll. So
I think she's just.
Race number 10. Gates are back racing at the 1400 metres. Beginning well, Baccarat Baby led initially. Pushing up is Jamaican Rain. Invincibella, the runner-up from last year, is driving through on the inside with Nantali. There's Savatiano Teleplay pushing up. Then Bella Martini, Bahuta Kawa on the outside. Atana the fence. Then She's Dashing. Spanish Whisper, Aristia. Well back in the field then is Angelic Ruler and Crone. So Teleplay led to the side of the track at the 950 by a half to Savatiano. A length and a quarter, Jamaican Rain out deeper. Then Invincibella the inside. Next in the field as they reach the 800 marker is Baccarat Baby, and then came Nantali, a length Atana, Bella Martini, She's Dashing, Spanish Whisper wider. A length Bahuta Kawa, Aristia, Angelic Ruler, and Krona's at the back. 600 metres to go. Savatiano forcing the speed. The outside of Teleplay as they quicken approaching the bend. Then Jamaican Rain, Invincibella, Baccarat Baby, Nantali stoked up from Spanish Whisper. Then Bella Martini, Atana, She's Dashing, Aristia third last. Bahuta Kawa is second last. So it's Teleplay and Savatiano. It's Savatiano going clear. A length and a half, 2 lengths Teleplay. Then Jamaican Rain, Spanish Whisper, Angelic Ruler down the outside. But Savatiano's low flying, 3 lengths in front. And Savatiano ducks into the rail but won it well. Angelic Ruler second, Spanish Whisper third, Bahuta Kawa late for 4. Then came Invincibella, Baccarat Baby, Crone, Aristia, Jamaican Rain, Teleplay, Bella Martini, Nantali, well back She's Dashing, and Atana at the end.
Well, he's a star of the saddle, and he'll win the star of the saddles in Craig Williams. He'll get...
Money for Savatiano, and again, just a really audacious but patient ride from Craig Williams to work this horse across from a wide gate. It travelled sweetly down the side, sat outside Teleplay, and pretty impressive win. Its first since winning the Moreton Cup back in the Queensland winter.
Yes, I think 6 of the 10 races was interesting yesterday. At the 800 metre mark, you were leading or running second. So once again, I'm not sure if that was a factor of the win. I mean, looking at some of the sectionals, it just varied through the day, but dominant win. They crawled through that first section. There were 7 lengths on raw figures outside, and then they've sprinted. So as far as the tempo was concerned, it was always going to be hard to reel in the best part of the track.
Rain, Spanish Whisper, Angelic Ruler down the outside, but Savatiano's low flying, 3 lengths in front, and Savatiano ducks into the rail but won it well. Angelic Ruler second, Spanish Whisper third.
So, Corey, just to explore that point, why aren't you a track walker?
I don't know. I've never really...
would work against.
I think Bahuta Kawa was a good run yesterday. Just
she was huge.
Didn't suit. They went soft up in front, and pace is always going to be a huge factor in the outcome of a race.
Yep.
And Invincibella.
We've got joint favourites with Bet365 for the Stella Artois Caulfield Cup. And it is Finch, trained by Chris Waller. He trained the winner of the Everest, $6.50. And he's been joined by an international who ran second in the Great Voltigeur in Constantinople. The Japanese star in Murder Glass is at $7.50. And Mr. Quickie at $8.50. Of course, the Queensland Derby winner. Let's get into the mounting yard. For the
Corey, I think the best ride in the race might go a long way to winning it.
Yeah, I think a lot of luck's going to play a big part in this race. But what I do like about it, I like
it in the Turnbull, and he's got to be a big chance today if he can get into a nice spot from a wide gate.
Jane Ivel, our mounting yard analyst.
Counts has travelled well. If he brings his A game, he's right in it.
Yeah, my first look at him, and look, he's making a pretty good impression. We don't get to see his...
Can the Japanese win another Caulfield Cup? Admirati was good enough to do it a couple of years ago. They have Murder Glass.
I think Group 3 form over the 2200 metres there is good enough. Once again, it just depends how they've travelled. I think the wide draw's a bonus. And, yeah, if he gets the breaks, we know how well and how competitive the top Japanese runners are.
He's not...
12, the only Victorian-bred runner in the race. It is Mr. Quickie. and he won the Queensland Derby.
Didn't have all favours in the Turnbull. The run in the Maccabi Diva first up was enormous. This is his pet trip, that's for sure, 1.5 miles. I like the barrier draw.
His name is Vow and Declare.
If you like one, you're almost compelled to like the other. And Vow and Declare will be that little bit fitter for the run in the Turnbull. He'll need a bit of galloping room. He's got a big action. I think he might be more of a Flemington horse. We'll see how he goes at Caulfield today.
Carries him.
He is at this level.
Horse number 2 is Mirage Dancer for the Bussetton Young team. Ben Mellum, so close last year in the race.
I believe he's got the right form in this race. 2400 metre specialist, proven at weight for age level in Europe. He was very consistent. Gee, I think if...
That with Corey Brown in a
that
with Corey Brown in a moment, but Jane, she's assessed all the stayers. There's $5 million up for grabs. Who's the pick of the yard?
Oh, what a tough assignment. Really hard to narrow it down to one horse. I'm with the 12 here in Mr. Quickie. It's the best parade I've seen from...
Only $2 separate the top 5 in betting for this Caulfield Cup. We have a new favourite, Constantinople, at $6.50, has displaced Finch at the top at 7. But there you can see just the $2 between the top 5. Vow and Declare, Murder Glace and Mr. Quickie are all there. The Chosen One, $26 on Wednesday, is at $12. Mirage Dancer, 17. Mostagir at 17. Perfect race.
Phillips.
Look, I thought his parade was a lot better than at Flemington, so that gives me a bit of confidence.
Yeah, Jane referenced that and said it's best that he's paraded, and you've got him peaking today, and then also maybe with a little up your sleeve.
Just about set, Mr. Quickie stands better now. Set for the Caulfield Cup. They're ready and they're racing. And Mr. Quickie stood there and missed it by 3 lengths. Angel of Truth began well towards the inside. Big Duke is one of the initial leaders with Wolf and Angel of Truth. Hartnell from the deep is coming over. Finch is looking for a position. Walker's looking over to his left. He's very keen to get a spot. Brimham Rock's the outside. Behind those horses then Quafila, the inside of Mirage Dancer. Then Red Verdon, who's 4 deep around Sound, Constantinople and Big Duke. Then Mr. Quickie, Goldmount, Vow and Declare, Rostropovich well back. Then Mustagir, Murder Glass. The Japanese Raider is second last out wider, and the Chosen One is at the back. So Wolf is the front runner. 1,700 metres to run. By a length and a quarter to Hartnell. Then Angel of Truth third, the outside of Quafila. Finch couldn't get in, 5th 3 wide. They were followed by Brimham Rocks around at 4 deep, and then Mirage Dancer. Further back is Big Duke. Rostropovich is on a forward move, 4 deep as well. Then Red Verdon. Next is Constantinople, the outside of Goldmount midfield. Then came Sound, Mr. Quickie, Vow and Declare. Well back in the field, Mustagir. And then came Murder Glass, and 2 further back is the Chosen One as they climb. 1,200 metres to go at halfway on top of the hill, and it's Wolf just in front of Rostropovich, who worked. 1.5 lengths to Hartnell, every chance the outside of Quafila. A length Brimham Rocks, followed by Angel of Truth, and they were followed by Finch covering extra ground. Next is Big Duke, and then Mirage Dancer. Further back is Red Verdon. The inside as they swing to the side is Goldmount, and then Constantinople Sound. 2 lengths Vow and Declare, Mr. Quickie, Mustagir, Murder Glass, and the Chosen One is at the end. Big Duke is dropping away and will be lucky to finish. 750 metres to go. It's Wolf just in front of Rostropovich. They were followed by Brimham Rocks 3 deep. Quafila behind them with Hartnell. Finch is 4 deep, only 2 or 3 off the lead. Sound is stoking up with Vow and Declare, followed by Murder Glass, who's only 4 off the lead, getting closer from Red Verdon. They're tightly packed in. The Chosen One around the turn. 400 to go. Wolf, Rostropovich, Finch out 4 deep, followed by Brimham Rocks. Mirage Dancer runs on behind those. Vow and Declare and Murder Glass right down the outside at the 200. Finch strikes the front, but here comes Murder Glass. Murder Glass takes Finch, followed by Mirage Dancer, Vow and Declare. Murder Glass, 100 metres to go, kicks away. 2 lengths, Vow and Declare. Murder Glass, it's the Japanese again. Murder Glass from Vow and Declare. Photo third, Mirage Dancer or Constantinople, then Finch. Next, Mustagir from Hartnell, Sound, Goldmount, Red Verdon. The Chosen One, Mr. Quickie. Further back in the field, Angel of Truth. Well back, Wolf got tired. Quafila, Mustagir pulls up alongside, then Brimham Rocks, and at the end was Rostropovich.
The Japanese have come and they've conquered. They've won the Caulfield Cup again. Murder Glass wins the Caulfield Cup with the man of the moment, Damien Lane. What a superb rider he is. He got it absolutely right, and the Japanese plan has come together. Murder Glass wins the Caulfield Cup. So many great runs in behind. It was a race that you needed plenty of luck, but a superb performance by Murder Glass wins the Caulfield Cup.
The audacity of that win was quite unbelievable, Corey. He had the cheek to look at the screen over his shoulder, Damian Lane. He knew he had that race wrapped up a fair way.
I think the audacity of the ride, I think it was a very, very clever ride. He went back, there was good speed, but I just like the way that...
Damian Lane, you've won the Caulfield Cup. Well done, mate. You knew about this horse a long time ago. You won on him in Japan, and here we are.
Yeah, look, he's not much to look at, but he's just a tradesman. He just keeps turning up and winning. And, you know, not many horses win 5 on the bounce in Japan because they're all weight for age races, so they go up steep every time. And, yeah, I'm just so wrapped. He's done the job for everyone today.
Was it always the plan to bring this horse over to Australia for this particular event?
I sort of planted the seed after the second time I won on him, and Connections were really happy to come because it looked like he was going to get 53 kilos, and then he won again, and it was questionable because he's going to go up to 55, and I just begged him to come because I knew 55 was still a winnable weight. So I'm just forever grateful that they brought him out here.
Oh, good on you, mate. So proud of you. You've done so well with your whole stint since you came here them years ago.
Thanks, Pervan.
Good on you, mate.
Caulfield and Murder Glass, the international raiders to the fall, maybe the first chapter of what might be the 3 big ones heading offshore this spring.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a focus of the Melbourne Racing Club to invest a lot of time in relationships with Japanese owners and trainers, and we saw with Admiraki winning in 2014. They can bring their second and third tier stayers to Caulfield and also to Flemington and be ultra competitive. And we saw yesterday a progressive Group 3 horse in Japan had won its last 5 in Murder Glass, you know, extremely dominant in the Caulfield Cup, and it does show the benefit of the riding stint that Damian Lane had in Japan earlier this year. He's obviously built up some really deep relationships with connections of good horse.
I think the Caulfield Cup will be a very, very good guide, but what you can take from it is difficult because it was such a roughhouse affair, wasn't it? It was like Dodgem cars at one stage in the home straight. But yeah, it's an interesting sort of day, I think.
This is a horse that drew second from the outside. 21 looked horrible at the barrier draw. Obviously came in as a result of the scratchings and the emergencies come out. Corey, just analyse the early part of this ride, and Damian Lane was happy just to idle along to get his way into the right spot.
He obviously knew the horse that he was riding was above average horse. You know, the way that he rode it was actually quite cheeky, the way that he rode it. Like he was dragging the horse out of the race, but he knew the turn of foot that Murder Glass had in the latter stages of the race, because he let him idle up and he had a lap full of horse. I couldn't believe the horse that he had approaching the half mile. He really allowed the horse to go through his gears, and he got there without even asking for an effort, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a terrific run. I actually thought the wide draw was a good thing for him, because in a bigger field, like Zach Purton did on Admiraki, you can keep him out of trouble, keep him wide and rolling.
Closer from Redford, and they're tightly packed in the chosen one. Around the turn, 400 to go. Wolf Rostropovich, Finch out 4 deep, followed by Brimham Rocks. Mirage Dancer runs on behind those. Vow and Declare and Murder Glass right down the outside at the 200. Finch strikes the front, but here comes Murder Glass. Murder Glass takes Finch, followed by Mirage Dancer. Vow and Declare. Murder Glass, 100 metres to go. Kicks away. 2 legs. Vow and Declare. Murder Glass. It's the Japanese again. Murder Glass from Vow and Declare. Photo third. Mirage Dancer.
So first time to 2400 for the horse. 6th win in a row. It had picked up a couple of Group 3s under Damian Lane's riding in Japan over 2000 and 2200 before stepping up to that distance. Corey, we're watching that vision there and looking at the run down the side, and in the space of 300 or 400 metres, he was able to reposition the horse from probably best part of 12 off the lead to being wide, admittedly, but only 4 lengths from the front as they rounded.
But he never even asked for an effort. He gathered them up within like 100 metres, and he was there to pounce without even asking the horse to extend. You know, it was an incredible win. Caught me eye again. You know, it was an incredible win. Caught me eye again. Mr. Quickie. I didn't realise how well he ran. Like, I'll be really honest. I think John Allen's riding a little bit light. You know, 53 kilos.
Too light for him.
Too light for him. You know, especially in these like longer races. It mightn't have an effect over the shorter races, but I think over the longer races, he's probably riding way too light. Like, he come over here as a jumps jockey, and he's now riding like below the limit. But again, the winner, I keep going back to the winner.
There's so many points out of the race, so isn't there? Finch was off the track all the way. There was interference to multiple runners. I'm not taking anything away from the winner. I mean, Murder Glass was fantastic. and it looked a soft win, almost like a track gallop sort of performance, didn't it? But there were a lot of good runs in behind. Constantinople was huge. But how much
really strong late.
Claire
the
was
last 100 metres, having a much tougher run than the winner. He was really strong.
Mirage Dancer, it was held up for a long time and got through late.
So there's so many. I think there's so many connections with different runners there. Yesterday, go, we've run. That's a nice trial for the Melbourne Cup, and including the winner. Like I tell you, and then you go to Flemington. It's going to suit probably the likes of Constantinople, Mirage Dancer, a couple others as well. Van der Clare. And they're unlucky runners, so how much do you upgrade them? But look, taking nothing away from the winner, she was...
So I guess the question with the winner is what sort of penalties does he get on the back of
that sort of portion of about the 800 to the 400, and you can see the confidence and knowledge that Damien Lane seemed to have in his horse to take such a wide run and then comfortably kick.
He didn't need to really shift in late, did he? But there was lots of interference back there. But he was travelling so well down the side. Just about every other rider was starting to make a bit of a move, not those that were sort of cluttered up, and he had the race. Corey had his mercy.
It was a smart ride because he actually followed Craig.
I think that's what we can see in the raw times, that it's run slow time because of the conditions in the race. But look, as we can see the connections here, the Japanese connections of the winner, Murder Glass, what we also need to reflect on and what makes the story even better is the fact that Damien Lane essentially put the Caulfield Cup on the radar of the connections. He originally said this horse may get into the Caulfield Cup around 53 kilograms, and the horse's connections were pretty excited by that. Then he obviously found out that he had to carry a little bit more weight, and they were a little bit hesitant, but Damien continued to say, this is the right horse. You've got to trust my judgment in this sense, and as a result, we've seen him come out. Damien's still on his back, has supported him and the connections the whole way through, and it's a great ending to that story.
And let's be honest, he's a Group 2, Group 3 horse in Japan, and
but progressive.
Progressive, but still, that's where he's at. He's nowhere near their best, is he?
It's a great story for the syndication model in Japan too. I think there's
in the Caulfield Cup.
Ben Mellon, Mirage Dancer.
Ran a really credible race. Had a good run through transit. Just had a little bit of barging to get out, but when he got out, he savaged the line well. Not better horse than Flemington, I reckon. He covers a lot of ground in his stride.
Luke Nolan, Constantinople.
He was terrific. We just muddling run race. Big striding horse was against us a bit, you know, from an inside draw. We look at the silver lining. He doesn't get a penalty for the Melbourne Cup, and he'll be suited at Flemington as well. So can't wait for 2 weeks' time.
Damien Oliver, Mustagia.
Yeah, he ran a good race. He probably would appreciate a faster tempo. It was a pretty muddling run race, and he was on the back of the winner on the turn, but the winner just had far too good acceleration for him. But he stuck on really well, but I think he'd appreciate a stronger tempo.
Craig Williams, Van der Clare.
Wow, he was fantastic. The stable were really confident coming into today as he's come back this preparation. He clearly delivered the same form, if not a better performance than his Turnbull first up run, and he's just going to really eat up 2 miles at Flemington. Very exciting going for an Australian horse taking on the rest of the world stayers come first Tuesday, November.
Michael Walker, Finch.
The horse ran super. He ran really well. Fought hard the whole way to the line. Got around Caulfield good, no problems, but his turn of foot's better at Flemington. Longer straight. I got as good a run as I could. I had a few people screaming inside me. I was trying to put a few over, but I couldn't get it. I ended up 3 with cover, as good as I could get. He's settled beautiful, and he's on track for a Melbourne Cup. It was a good run, really good.
A huge amount of stories out of the race. We'll get to those with Grace in a moment. First, a look at flashing lights and steer clears. And Simon, I think we need to go rock, paper, scissors here on Mr. Quickie. I want him going forward. You don't.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, I'm a huge Mr. Quickie fan. I just think he's starting to develop a few bad habits, and yesterday they had the intention of riding him sort of midfield, but he played up in the stalls, played up behind the barriers, and then missed the kick by 2 to 3 lengths. So, you know, now that he's racing against open-class Group 1 horses, I'm not sure you can keep on, you know, making those sort of errors and expecting to be competitive. So I know he's still reasonably strong late, but, you know, he's giving away enormous starts in his races, and I'm happy.
Melbourne Cup, significant pathways are about to unfold. Van der Clare is a fascinating story, high up in Melbourne Cup markets after its second yesterday, but right now not guaranteed to get a run.
Well, that's exactly it. Unfortunately, Van der Clare is still, as it stands, when you eliminate some of those that won't be heading towards the Melbourne Cup, he's not in the race. He's right on the cusp, but we also know that in the next couple of weeks there are a lot of qualifying races where you're eligible for a penalty, which may be able to push him again out of contention. He's currently $13 and he absolutely deserves to be in the Melbourne Cup, but
there will be plenty of attrition. There always is in the couple of weeks leading.
The good thing for the Caulfield Cup, though, there's 6, 7, 8 runners out of that you could say, you know,
that's exactly it.
This horse is going to be a good chance in the Melbourne
There's
Cup.
nothing, particularly from an international perspective, that ran below expectation yesterday to suggest that they shouldn't be pushing on to the Melbourne Cup. So on my notes here, we know Prince of Arran also doesn't yet have a spot booked in the Melbourne Cup, so they're just going to have to sit and wait. Prince of Arran will run again, but when it comes to Vow and Declare, they don't really want to,
but they might have to.
They might have to in the...
Well, the Japanese have hit town. They've won the Caulfield Cup. They're favourite for the Cox Plate. Let's go to yesterday's Caulfield Cup, and we picked them up with Murder Glass outside Vow and Declare.
It's hard to beat acceleration, isn't it? And Damien had experience on this horse in the past in Japan. He begged them to come over, and he just puts them away, and he probably shortens up half the field, but he puts them away. 2 Mile, a horse with a turn of speed. I don't know. What is he? 26 into, I think he's $9 into the Cup now. So he's won his past 6. And he looks pretty good. Geez, there were some hard luck stories in this race. I thought Vow and Declare was a beautiful second-up Cups trial. The other import did enough, Mirage Dancer. And then Constance to Noble had no luck whatsoever. In fact, he firmed from 12 into 7 for the Melbourne Cup. Finch was a total forgive, wide the whole way. He'll be all right back at Flemington there. Mr. Quickie played up at the barrier, and he's run into awful trouble when he was going to be really bursting through the centre. It's going to be one of these races. And we'll have a look at Hartnell. He went from the 1-1 position back to near last, and he's driving through the middle late. So is there a question mark on this race, or were there so many good runs in this race? That's the question that has to be answered. But a turn of speed's a marvellous thing in racing, and I think he got a bit of trouble, didn't he, Damien?
Yeah, he got suspended, and he got a $20,000 fine as well. So he is now being suspended. Wow. But look at the run. When you go back and you can watch it over and over again, and the amount of hard luck stories that you're seeing, and you can make a case for each and every horse. I think Constantinople was a huge run. Even that last 50 metres where he just stuck his neck out and started getting into his rhythm. When you analyse these races, are you looking for the horses that are finishing off? Or is it the glaringly obvious this horse can improve? Because there wasn't a lot of good reports about this horse prior to the race.
No, they say he hadn't settled in.
And wasn't quite at his best. So maybe we're going to see even better form from him.
Yeah, but he's got to stamp himself.
On 11, Sickle, and they're racing. And immediately True Self just veered towards the left, didn't lose a lot of ground. Grey Lion began well. They're trying to sort out who's going to lead this. Prince of Arran is pushing up out wide with Nerf Bosk outside of Hackey, and then came Red Galileo, who got to 4th. Out wide of Muntahar's looking for a position. Grey Lion next and True Self, and then Del Harold. Supernova 3rd last. The inside is Red Cardinal, and Steel Prince is last. So just under 2,000. Supernova is at the end. So Hackey's trying to get this into a solid tempo as they reach the 1,000 marker. 2.5 lengths Prince of Arran. 2 lengths Muntahar, the outside of Nerf Bosk, and then Del Harold, who has improved to 5th around Red Galileo. True Self the inside, followed by Steel Prince, who's on the back of Del Harold. Next is Grey Lion Supernova, and at the end is Red Cardinal. 7.50 out. It's Hackey controlling by a length Prince of Arran. Muntahar 3rd around Nerf Bosk, and then came Del Harold, tracked by Steel Prince. True Self's off the rails at that crucial stage. Then Red Galileo approaching the turn from Red Cardinal Supernova, and at the end is Grey Lion. 400 metres to go as they quicken. It's Hackey just in front of Prince of Arran, giving it the stare. Then Del Harold, who's always been wide. Next Muntahar. Down the outside, True Self has got through, and then came Supernova. Prince of Arran at the 200 takes Hackey. True Self still 2.5 off Prince of Arran. Walker goes for the whip. Prince of Arran at the 100 metres, but True Self coming out after Prince of Arran. Prince of Arran 3/4 a half. True Self's got a lunge. They hit it. Prince of Arran has just beaten True Self. 3rd Hackey. Photo 4. Red Galileo or Red Cardinal. Then Supernova. Steel Prince, Grey Lion, Nerf Bosk. Behind those, Del Harold and Muntahar was last in the Bet365 Geelong Cup. away they go. He is midfield away. Shakespeare out well with J-Rod 2 over towards the far side. Bit of pace out deep from Long Jack, Southern Moon, and there's Exalted Ambition. From the extreme outside, Ellie's going to zoom over, cross to the rails immediately and lead by 2 lengths. Second in the race is Relucent, a lot closer today with Southern Moon, who's caught on a limb on that first corner. Sign, Seal, Deliver got to 4th from Shakespeare. Then the Red Sea. It's Exalted Ambition at the 600 metres, just in front of Relucent as they come up towards the turn. Relucent, if anything, nosing Exalted Ambition under pressure. Quail Hollow Translator coming with runs. Southern Moon's in that clump as well with the Red Sea. 5 or 6 across the track around the turn. He is given a slap with the whip, only a couple off the lead, and Long Jack needs a run. Relucent, Southern Moon together. Translator down the outside, the Red Sea. Long Jack is zigging and zagging and coming through. Southern Moon, Relucent at the 200. Long Jack's the threat. Long Jack up the Southern Moon, Relucent. Long Jack takes Southern Moon. Long Jack won the Classic. Long Jack a half, Southern Moon, Relucent, 3rd, 4th, Translator. Then Sign, Seal, Deliver, the Red Sea, a gap he is. Further back, Navarre, then Lucky Edward, Shakespeare, trolleyed.
With Master of Wine next week or next year. Race number 7 here. This is our feature race. This is the new $1 million Bondi Stakes for 3-year-olds over a mile. And
gates are back now, and they're off and racing, and Zabrowski left the gates pretty cleanly, and going forward in the early stages, Just Thinking as expected, with Collada coming across from the outside. So it's Collada moving up to take the lead away from Just Thinking. Looks as though Tim Clark's more than happy to let Collada go. Zabrowski in 3rd, followed by Kubrick on the improve on the inside of Erno, and Bottega with the blinkers on is firing up badly out wide. Boy from Pancho, and 2 lengths away to the lone filly of the field, Kui Rupp. Collada leads, approaching the 600 metres from Zabrowski, being squeezed up on the outside. Now revved up, trying to give chase to Collada. Just Thinking poised in behind them, needs a bit of room now as Clark's starting to think about an exit strategy. Right behind him is Kubrick, and Bottega to the outside. The run opens up for Just Thinking. It's Collada in front from Just Thinking, going to a clear second. Kubrick ran out of room there on the inside, although it's scraping paint now. Can it get through Kubrick? It's trying to get underneath Collada. Here's Pancho with a big run wide out. Kubrick gets the run now and takes the lead from Pancho, and it's Kubrick just in front, goes clear to win the Bondi Stakes by 1 length to Pancho. Collada 3rd. What a ride there by Brenton Abdullah. There was only inches to work with up the straight. Then Ballistic Boy from Zabrowski, Just Thinking, dropped off from Erno. Then came Kui Rupp, and Bottega really fired up badly in the blinkers and finished last.
Kubrick. Brenton Abdullah took the biggest, deepest breath he could, and he squeezed through a gap that didn't look like it was going to be there. Kubrick's got right through on the inside. He went down at a tough run in the Caulfield Guineas, but what a way to come back and get a consolation prize like this, winning $1 million race over the stablemate Pancho and that was at Randwick with the new race, the Bondi Stakes, worth $1 million. Kubrick, who was beaten in the Caulfield Guineas, comes back to Sydney for this $1 million race, and we're going to show you a lot of vision here of Brenton Avdulla. He had a great day, 4 winners, but it's this ride and the run that Avdulla and Kubrick took when there wasn't a run was quite incredible.
It was fearless. It could have turned ugly, you know. It's turned out well, and he's going to get all the accolades in the world, but he took a bare run that nearly wasn't there, and if it wasn't for a plastic running rail with a bit of give in it,
yes,
it wouldn't have happened. But yeah, look, the real Kubrick turned up yesterday, and look, just have a look at this.
Watch the running rail buckle and move on a number of occasions. It starts there and it just continues all the way down the straight.
You have to have the right horse to do that, though, don't you?
Of course you do.
He was so game. Just he just was driving through that gap. Brenton asked for him, but he had to be game to do that. And
you had to have horse underneath you to do that. You see horses fall.
This was literally burning rubber. If we can get Brenton's foot up, we got a photo of Brenton's boot, and you can see that has burnt through the boot. Him sliding up that running rail for half a furlong.
It would have been really warm because, you know, plastic on more or less plastic, and it would have been burning his little toe there. That one.
I don't know whether he'd be even worrying about that.
No.
The dangling of the carrot.
Through the fence here at this stage, but look, it's like I said, he was travelling well enough, and he was too good. Geez, up and comer, I reckon, that Pancho. He lifted to another level there. He's gone really, really good. I thought Collada was in. Look, he's just in fine form, and I thought he was a bit flat there, wasn't he? Just thinking.
At to $10 for Trope, but it's all about the $1.80 favourite, and that is Bivouac, the 3-year-old. Punters aren't game to take him on. He's been rock solid, his price since it opened, and he's the best backed runner racing here tonight at Moonee Valley. Let's have a look at the Manikato Stakes, and that's Bivouac, $1.80 your favourite. The Bostonian's had his supporters. He's been pretty solid in this market to remain at $7 from $6.50. Loving Gabby's had the support, the best supported horse outside of Bivouac, $10 into $8.50.
Teams up with the might of Godolphin with this outstanding colt called Bivouac.
Yeah, his only defeat this preparation came on a heavy track, and I think that took away his brilliance a little bit. His past 2 wins in fast time, he's beaten Yes. That form looks outstanding in hindsight, given the Everest. The obvious query is, what are they going to do from that inside barrier? Do they lead? Do a couple cross him? But his form
of our fillies is this outstanding filly by him, Invincible, called Loving Gabby. Craig Williams riding at 51, then he'll ride at 49.5 on Cox Plate. That's a big ask.
Yeah, she was really impressive, winning at this track and distance first up. Then might have just bumped into a pretty smart filly in California Zimble, who out-sprinted her off a slow speed at Caulfield last time. It's a stronger race again. My main query with her is whether she's now looking for further.
Look on. It's been a Group 1. There's only been 3 colts, 3-year-old colts that have been good enough to win it. King Marauding, Redute's Choice and Sepoy. It's a very exclusive list.
I think there's about the 3-year-old colt by Exceed and Excel, Bivouac. He's the best backed runner in the race. Bets of $10, $16 and $20,000 at the short price with Bivouac. Loving Gabby's the only one that's really firmed from her opening quote against this.
Sepoy, they're off. Bivouac came out fast. The Bostonian jumped okay, but it's Bivouac headed quickly by Going Fast, Loving Gabby, and she's going to lead the way. It's Loving Gabby taken on by Fartanar. Anahid wide out from Merrill, the Bostonian. Bivouac's in a world of pain. He's racing 6th on the fence from Winter Bride. Ashlaw off the track. They were followed by Rock Magic, Vital Silver, Tropes 2 away last. 7.50 to go. Fartanar zooming in front. Led the fillies, Anahid and Loving Gabby. Loving Gabby fast out of the gate. She's the box seat. The Bostonian moving up on the outside. They were followed by Merrill, Ashlaw. Bivouac's got nowhere to go. He's got Rumpstake all around him as they come to the bend. Then came Vital Silver, well back, Rock Magic, Winter Bride, and Trope will try and loop the field on the bend. Anahid the front, rather moving up on the corner. Anahid going after Fartanar. Fartanar, Anahid. Bivouac can't get out at the moment. Loving Gabby looking for a run. Vital Silver running on with the Bostonian. Anahid hit the front. Vital Silver's running on. Loving Gabby's getting through. Anahid in front. Vital Silver and Loving Gabby. Loving Gabby's hit the front. The filly's going to win it. Loving Gabby has beaten Vital Silver. Anahid third from Rock Magic, Bivouac and the Bostonian. Winter Bride behind those. They were followed by Fartanar, Trope. Well back pulling up is Ashlaw, and Merrill is last in. Wow. It was bold. It was daring by Williams. He flung her out of the gate running. Took the set. She had a bump on the corner. She had a bump in the home straight. And just as Vital Silver, when she was almost put off foot, looked as if he was going to win the race, it was left to the filly to find top gear. She has a pedigree to be.
It's something that my riding management have been working on, and I had the right horse to get her out and utilise it, and we thought we'd follow Bivouac, but she jumped really well and she's quite keen, and congratulations to Kieran and David and his team, because they chose to come to this race after Tuesday morning gallop, and they're right, and she's put
Uses in as well. Come in, Dave. It's a great moment for both of you. This extraordinary filly, she's created history tonight. No 3-year-old filly's won this race as a Group 1, but she is something special.
Yeah, she is. Great thanks to Phoenix, and actually was a bit stronger, and her work was really sharp, you know, and she got up on the Chewy second start, and I just thought she's going to she might bring herself undone by going to the mile this time around. When she worked so well here and she ran so well here first up, we thought we'd roll the dice with the weight drop.
And it's a perfect plan. Mate, when you've got this massive team, the pressure just builds and builds, so moments like this become...
Able to take the victory in the Manikato.
Great race, great ride from Craig Williams. He won the race in the first 100 yards, I thought, or 100 metres, I should say, Corey. We'll talk about K-Mac in a moment, aboard Bivouac, but look, you make your own luck, and that's what Craig Williams did.
Yeah, Craig, definitely the first 100 of the race. He bounced out. He was controlling McAvoy from behind, you know, like he knew where McAvoy was and he knew he was going to have to follow him through, and yeah, it was a very, very smart ride from Craig.
Cracking edition of the Manikato taken out by Loving.
Running on with the Bostonian, and a heat hit the front. Vital Silver's running on. Loving Gabby's getting through, and a heat in front. Vital Silver and Loving Gabby. Loving Gabby's hit the front. The filly's going to win it. Loving Gabby has beaten Vital Silver.
WA horses continue to shine in our spring. Vital Silver, such a gallant second as well. So the discussion is the rides in the first couple of 100 metres. Corey, we bow to you for your expertise as a 49-time Group 1 winner.
Look, it's always, sometimes it's really difficult. Drawing barrier 1, you know, like you'd love to draw outside of 2, you know, inside of 6 in these sort of races, especially.
Do you think K-Mac was just erring on the side of caution? He's come out, I mean, the way I read it was he jumped actually on turns, but he just was a little neutral through the first few strides, and that's all it took for Craig to say, well, if you're not going there, I'm taking that position.
100%, without a doubt. You could see he didn't really urge Bivouac at all. I know there was a lot of tempo injected in, you know, after the last 3 or 4 strides from the outside horses, but Craig, once he had that neck on Kieran, he just knew that he had control of him. So he
I mean, once again, Jim, another 3-year-old, and this is a batch of 3-year-olds we have going around at the moment, I think, from top end to tail.
There's no doubt. I mean, she's got a great acceleration as well, great turn of foot. But going back to this...
When you see that reverse shot, he had a lot to offer, didn't he, Bivouac? It was a terrific run. I mean, it's just literally, it's just one of those things that happen. I suppose in hindsight, Grace, it means that it might give them another option going forward.
Well, I guess what it means is that the Coolmore Stud Stakes could be one of the best races this spring carnival, because if we see Bivouac, also Loving Gabby, head in that direction, we've got Libertini, Exceedance, Cosmic Force, Microphone, California Zimble. I mean, this is going to be a great race. I cannot wait to see it. And Bivouac...
Friday night, and Loving Gabby took this out. A lot of talk about Bivouac's performance, but let's start with Loving Gabby, the winner.
And we can talk about the jockey again, and the ride, a perfect ride by Williams. He seized an opportunity that fell into his lap here when she jumped so well. He says, well, I'd love to have this Bivouac 3-back defence in front of him, and that's exactly what happened. She's an explosive filly. She's a beauty. To think, we're all thinking, oh, she's going to go the mile, and he changes tacks. He trained her for a mile, or he changes tacks and takes on this race. Vital Silver was great. Great decision for a late nom for Anna Heed. She's got a Group 1 placing there for a 3-year-old filly. Talking points, Bivouac. Would he have won? Could he have won?
Could he have been where... That's the talking point, is could he have been where Loving Gabby was? Did he have enough... He jumped... I heard some people saying he jumped a bit slow, but to me, when I watched the replay, he jumped with them. He just wasn't able to muster the speed to put himself where Loving Gabby was.
Yeah, it just didn't happen for him. And beaten to the punch by a good filly. Very good.
Today, the vase for the 3-year-old potential stayers. And Corey, is there a run of intrigue here?
I'd really like to be riding Soul Patch. I just think he's drawn very tricky for Dwayne.
Got the Bet365 market for the Drummond Golf Vase over 20-40 metres, Group 2, worth $300,000, and Battenberg's been solid throughout betting, and $2.60 available now for in the golf.
Hill Racing, Independent Road jumped away neutral. Battenberg over towards the far side, probably the best elite with Fabulanski. After 100 metres, they're trying to find an order. Behind those is Serious Liaison and Bailey's. 2 lengths Independent Road, Craftsmanship. Soul Patch second last. At the back is Moonlight Maid. So Fabulanski. So as they head towards towards the back section, 1,000 metres to run. Fabulanski leads by a length and a half, Independent Road. Third is Battenberg. Fourth is Bailey's. Fifth, Serious Liaison. They've been a bit quicker mid-race. Then Soul Patch, Craftsmanship and Moonlight Maid. Fabulanski by over a length, Independent Road. No change in the order. Battenberg third, Every Possible Chance, covered up by Bailey's. Over a length, Serious Liaison, 4 off the lead from Soul Patch. Craftsmanship second last. The manifold winner at the end of the field, Moonlight Maid. Fabulanski approaching the school at the 600 metres, a half length, Independent Road. Then Bailey's third wider. Battenberg the inside, about to be called upon. Soul Patch has tracked into it with also Serious Liaison needing some luck. Craftsmanship's going to hump the fence and Moonlight Maid. So it's only 2 or 3 lengths top into tail and the race is on in the bars. 300 to go. Battenberg drives up underneath Independent Road. Moonlight Maid looping them with Soul Patch into the straight. Moonlight Maid, Soul Patch go together at the 150. Soul Patch sprints a length and a quarter. Moonlight Maid. Soul Patch is going well, and a big one for Ken Keys. Soul Patch 2 lengths. Second, Moonlight Maid, a gap, Serious Liaison. Independent Road, Craftsmanship for fourth from Battenberg. Then came a gap, Fabulanski, and Bailey's was at the end of the field.
Well, he's one of the few horses who weren't in the Derby, but he ran out a really strong and solid 2,000 metres today. And Dwayne Darnwell, he rode him conservatively. And Soul Patch, who was 8th in the Caulfield Guineas when he got out of his ground and he finished stylishly there. He's defeated the good filly in Moonlight Maid. She lost no admirers as well. I thought seriously.
They come from well back, and to me, Corey, that just says that they got a fair bit on the rest of the
He's
field.
definitely got ability. I spoke to Dwayne after the race, and I actually said to him about the blinkers, and he said they were a great addition. He said he's a horse that needs waking up, and he said he did have a small blunder going past the post first time, which is noticeable. He clipped the heel, and he said from that moment onwards he is awake. But I said, will he overdo it if he goes to a Derby trip with those on? And he said no. He said he definitely needs them. They're a great addition. He said it's definitely made the horse.
His 11.66 was the fifth best final 200 of the day, albeit off a pretty sedate sort of tempo, but he's had to sustain a good final last 800, and his best work was the final 100.
He was explosive through and stronger through the line. Like he was really explosive.
Let's see it unfold.
Moonlight Maid, Soul Patch go together at the 150. Soul Patch sprints a length and a quarter. Moonlight Maid. Soul Patch is going well, and a big one for Ken Keys. Soul Patch 2 lengths. Second, Moonlight Maid, a gap, seriously.
So it's looked like a match race next Saturday. Shadow Hero from Sydney, of the spring champion, thought of that incredible victory last week in the Caulfield Classic. Can Soul Patch put his name in the mix?
He's in the mix.
Absolutely.
He's right in the mix. Because he's one as well. I mean, not dissimilar to the other two, but you just feel that he's going to really relish the 2,500. He goes to sleep early. And what he has, probably like Shadow Hero, is a good turn of foot. I think he's got a better turn of foot. But thought of that, just to look, I haven't gone through the race, but I think thought of that probably deserves to be favourite.
Yeah, it's shaping as a really quality renewal of this race. When you look at the top 4 or 5 in betting, you add Long Jack into it after its win in the Geelong Classic on Wednesday. This is a really strong derby.
Yeah, a lot of form lines that are, you know, these horses are going and they're actually hitting their straps prior to the derby, and there are a lot of...
Yeah, we haven't mentioned, like Warning and others, that are really worthy contenders. This is going to be one of the races of the carnival, without doubt.
It is really...
2, 4, 5 and 6.
Well, the Pick 7's obviously been popular again today.
He's got a lot of time to build up throughout this preparation. He was very fresh early. Took a little while to clean up in his coat, and he's just got better and better with every run.
And that is Humidor. He ran 3rd in the Cox Plate last year, 2nd the year before. And he has a crack at the Moonee Valley Cup here.
It's interesting over this distance range, but look, he's been building this preparation. I thought he was well past his best.
There's only 60 cents between the top 4, so the punters have decided this is where the market should be, and this is the winner's going to come out of the top 4. So Mr. Quickie, a drifting favourite at $3.80. Downdraft just got out to 4, and Hunting Horn back to $4.40, and Humidor $4.40 as well. The only...
From the inside, Mr. Quickie just took its time out of the machine. Hunting Horn began well with Row, and also out wider is Downdraft. It is a real saunter the first 150 metres. Shraro led from on the outside Downdraft, then Hunting Horn, Ventura Storm. A length El Faris, Mr. Quickie the Paint, Humidor pulling wider, and Etymology is at the end. So very slow coming up towards the turn. It's the Sydney Cup winner from earlier. Humidor last, about 7 or 8 off the leader, Shraro. Well, it's been pretty uneventful heading towards the back section with 1,150 metres to run. It's Shraro by 3/4 of a length to Downdraft. A length Ventura Storm third from Hunting Horn. They were followed by Mr. Quickie, El Faris. A length and a half to Etymology. And at the end is Humidor. So play it again, Sam, off the back. 850 metres to run. Shraro has just controlled it here. 3/4 of a length to Downdraft. Then Ventura Storm and Hunting Horn. El Faris peels out 3 deep. Next in the field is Mr. Quickie the Fence from Humidor, and Etymology is at the end of the field. I sound like a broken record at the 600 metres, still no change. Shraro about a neck in front. Now Downdraft's getting a bit closer. Hunting Horn 3 deep. Ventura Storm needs a run. Mr. Quickie stoked to get involved, followed by El Faris. It's going to be a dash to the post in the Moonee Valley Gold Cup at the 350. Downdraft goes to the lead. Here's Mr. Quickie and Hunting Horn. They've beaten off Shraro, and they were followed by Ventura Storm. It's Hunting Horn up the Downdraft. Mr. Quickie's the threat. Hunting Horn at the 150 a length. Mr. Quickie trying to wear it down. Hunting Horn is clear. Hunting Horn a length. Mr. Quickie. Hunting Horn has won the Moonee Valley Gold Cup from Mr. Quickie. Downdraft. Fourth Humidor from Ventura Storm. Then Shraro, next El Faris, and Etymology was at the end.
Well, a super win to Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore, and all around the world they dominate racing. And Hunting Horn in the famous colours of Coolmore wins the Moonee Valley Gold Cup. Missed out on a start in the Cox Plate, wins the Moonee Valley Cup. He's assured of a run in the Melbourne Cup. Look at
the UK and the US this year. It's got a lot of stamps on its passport. Wins the Moonee Valley Gold Cup, finds itself sitting in 20th in the Melbourne Cup order of entry pre-race yesterday. So you'd think right now that horse would be running in the first Tuesday.
You'd think so, and he's been a very valuable horse for Ballydoyle because, as you say, he's been everywhere, he's done everything. It's been 14 runs since he actually won a race, and he was the pacemaker in the Eclipse, in the King George and the Irish Champion, and he's come off the back of that. So full marks to the team here in Australia for actually getting his mind right and actually being able to produce him to win a race. But I'd say this is very much a B division for Aidan O'Brien, maybe even bordering on a C. You know, he's got a lot better horses than that back home, that's for sure.
Tell us what you really think.
Yeah, well, I think, and what's interesting about this race as well is that how slow they went. It was pathetic how the tempo of the race. It really was. They were 15 lengths outside of the sort of on raw times, according to the daily sectionals. You can see how slow they're going.
Would have been for Hunting Horn, it would have been like a canter to the barriers normally.
Yeah. and the thing was, they didn't. Normally, when they go that slow, they come home in pretty good time. Now, I'm not sure if the wind was a factor, but they haven't come home in very good time either. So, look, that's a worry. I mean, this is really rated very poorly, I thought. So I've got my concerns around the format of this race.
It's a race that hasn't...
Quickie, Hunting Horn has won the Moonee Valley Gold Cup from Mr. Quickie. Downdraft.
Grace, Luke Nolan post-race, his summation of Mr. Quickie's run into second was that he felt the horse didn't stay and it's likely to either head to the McKinnon or perhaps have a spell.
And that's basically what Philip Stokes said as well. He said, we know how to train him for next preparation. He just doesn't stay 2,500 metres, particularly at that sort of level. But we will... Humidor, I spoke to Dave Eustace after the race and he was really frustrated at, obviously, the fact that the horse has missed a run in the Cox Plate, but then has ended up out the back and having to travel widest in a race that was run so slowly, as Hutch has already alluded to. There's literally nothing more he could have done. He still hit the line and sprinted. On Humidor?
Yeah, I thought he should have gone earlier. I mean, when they're going that slow.
Yeah, he doesn't help himself though, Humidor, does he? Like
with Hunting Horn.
Yeah, well, you just look at his form and you would have thought, oh, well, what's he doing here? It was one of the biggest goes of all time there yesterday. I think he's a $9 into $3.50 or something. And I don't know, it wasn't a contest. It was just a trot and canter, and he wound into his work. And your old mate there, Ryan Moore, he rides him well.
Masterful ride. So strong. He rides the Moonee Valley so well, doesn't he? I suppose he's ridden there a few times before, but he just picked up the momentum.
Well, what do we want to do here now?
You tell me.
I don't know. You know, I like the way Vow and Declare's been handled. Still got to really confirm he's in the field. We've still got the Hotham to come for a horse its way in, and a few to drop off there. But I don't know. I don't know what to think. The internationals have won everything. Is something on a left fielders again, or maybe last year's winners? They've kept quiet about him.
Come on, Elizabeth. This is up your
today.
David Minucier is the trainer of one of the favourites of the Cox Plate, Dancer Terry, who also has 12 here in this race, Chief Ironside.
Yeah, there was excuses, of course, in the Toorak, and he seemed to have a bit to offer in that race. He was certainly just basically running into a wall of horses at a key stage. We don't know what was there.
Go on top from the yard, mainly because he did actually stand out, which that's sort of my job, to find the horse that stands out. And
I thought it was going out as $4.40, $4.60, but back to $4.20, so that's been good to see. So Dreamforce comes back. From there, Sikandrabad was the one that was coming in. That's gone out, so there's been a bit of a shift there at the top of the market as we see Sikandrabad out to $6. Pakadali got as low as $7, out to $7.50. Best of Days continues to shorten. It's a real watch for us. Best of 10 to 9. Dreamcastle in the first 100 metres.
Sure does, and interesting with Dreamforce drawn in 4, Cliff's Edge in 3. And I would have thought normally if you could flip those barrows, Johnny Allen might be more than happy Force, but will he make Dreamforce work? And
racing. Dreamcastle away midfield, being roused early. Dreamforce began really well, led from Dreamcastle, and they were followed out wider by Cliff's Edge, also pushing up on the premises. Chief Ironside's closer today. Galo shot deeper, then Sikandrabad. Further back is Pakadali, Madison County away. Best of Days, Poonamoo, 3 lengths, Dead Agent. Dreamforce, the pilot at the top corner. 800 metres to go by a half. Cliff's Edge a length. Galo shop 3 deep. Dreamcastle 4th, the paint. Then Chief Ironside 3/4. Madison County with cover from Pakadali, Sikandrabad. Then Best of Days, Poonamoo, and Dead Agent tacks on at the end, about 7 off the leader. Dreamforce tried to stack them up from Cliff's Edge. Galo shop 3rd. Further back is Madison County, Chief Ironside, Dreamcastle under heavy pressure. Then Best of Days, Pakadali, Sikandrabad needs some room. Then Dead Agent, Poonamoo drops away. It's Dreamforce just in front of Cliff's Edge at the 300. Then Madison County, Chief Ironside is still there, followed by Best of Days and Sikandrabad. Dreamforce in the straight, followed by Cliff's Edge, who's peppering away. Then Chief Ironside, Cliff's Edge up to Dreamforce. Chief Ironside the outside, Cliff's Edge just in front. Chief Ironside coming with Best of Days. It's a head bomber. Chief Ironside maybe. Chief Ironside from Cliff's Edge or Best of Days. Then there's a wall of them. Pakadali, Dreamforce, Sikandrabad, Madison County behind them. They were followed by Galo Shop, Dead Agent. Towards the end of the field, Dreamcastle and Poonamoo. It's a photo finish, and it's the middle will win, Chief Ironside.
It's a photo finish, but it'll be advantage for the internationals again. Trained by a Frenchman, trained in the UK, owned by a bunch of Australians who are beside themselves in the mounting yard. David Minucier, well, he's had a little settler with the nerves. He's got Dancer Terrier in the Cox Plate. He wins with Chief Ironside. Jamie Spencer is the winning rider. And suddenly, Cox Plate Day has been turned on its head with back-to-back international wins. Chief Ironside so unlucky in the Toorak. He bounces back to win the Crystal Mile. Big win, Hutch.
Yeah, it was a big win. It was a terrific ride, and gee, it was a very tight finish, wasn't it? And Jamie Spencer had to navigate.
Ironside's win in the Crystal Mile, Jim, and this is a horse that had come off 2 previous victories, 2,000 metres at Chester and Newmarket. Doesn't exactly leap off the page, but it put a little bit of the writing on the wall with what many people thought was an unlucky run in the Toorak.
Yeah, no, he's a decent horse, and he was with William Jarvis, a well-known Newmarket trainer, and he did very well for him. And William always rated him. He always thought he was good, but when they've sold Dancer Terrier, the Clive Washbourne, the owner, when he sold that horse, this has come, I think, as part of the package, as maybe a lead horse. But he's handy in his own right, there's no doubt. But before this, he'd gone 9 starts without a win. And the last time he actually won, he was rated 89, which is decent, but it's not of this standard. It's not Group 2 standard.
Well, he's certainly enjoying the change of scenery. Let's hear... So defied a little bit of a market drift. Did have its supporters, though, at about $26. Hutch, you've seen plenty of Crystal Miles before. Is there much coming out of this that we can perhaps look forward to in the Kentile?
Well, it ranked the second best race on the whole card, and that was on the back of just how fast they went. They were actually rolling along at a pretty good tempo. Look, I know that's on raw times. It was a day where it's going to be difficult to, I suppose, assess a lot of the form, Corey, because of the wind. It was changing, it was swirling. We had sunshine. I think it changed directions at different point. But look, it was a good, tough win. Lovely ride from Jamie Spencer on the day. But it was, yeah, it was a difficult day to assess from that point of view.
It was. And what I love about these riders, like I did mention Ryan.
He's a decent...
Been competing in Singapore as
yeah,
well.
Dead agent. And I noticed, they obviously flew Michael Rod over, who knows the horse back to front. I just don't think... I mean, he got around the valley, but I think he'd be much better suited when he gets to like a Flemington or even back to a Caulfield. But he's a smart horse. He's probably at the end of his...
From the Crystal Mile yesterday, and I really liked the run of Pakadali because he's second up, and he was really good hitting the line strongly. A lot of these horses...
From Damien Lane, is it another Group 1 in Japan for the Aussie boy? Damien Lane and Lise Gracheur, the mare goes on and wins.
And if it's not the Japanese mare, we just spoke to her owner. Can you imagine the whole of Tasmania will be sitting on the edge of their seats, barracking for Mystic Journey?
I do wish I was out there sitting on horseback.
OK, you've been saying all along that you would like to be Anthony Darmanin. You think he can win the race?
Oh, I think he can, you know. Like, obviously the Japanese mare, if she turns up on her A game, she's going to be very, very hard to hold out. But I just think Mystic Journey, she got a little bit too far out of her ground last time out at Caulfield, and I think Anthony...
Here from Bet365 for the great race, and it's $2.90 now for the Japanese raider in Lise Gracheur. Oh, what a race it is. $7 for Mystic Journey, the pride of Tasmania, for the Ladbrokes Cox Plate, and $7 for the 3-year-old in Castle Vecchio. And make our way into the
travel. She brings in A-grade form from all over the globe, and by all accounts has travelled really well and really worked stylishly here. So she's going to take the power of it.
Well, Jane, you're moving along.
Parade this campaign.
There's only been 4 3-year-old colts good enough to win the race, and that was the mighty Octagonal, Savabeel, So You'd Think, and Seamus Award. Can he be number 5?
Well, the market thinks he's got a good chance, Richo, because there's good market support for Castle Vecchio. Drawn nicely, 49.5 kilos on his back, and what a 3-year-old crop it is. He's a really interesting...
Number 7 is Tiakau Shark for Jamie Richards. Opie Bosson, the star jockey. Is going to overcome a wide gate? Can he create history? First winner from barrier 14.
He's going to make it difficult, and they'll have to be, I think, conservative from there. He does get back in his races. Terrific one in the Epsom to get closest on the line to Colding, who's been in stellar form. This is his toughest.
Magic Wand, or Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien were able to win it in 2014 with Adelaide.
That form around Magical and the Irish Champion Stakes, that's terrific form. Look, if the favourite doesn't bring her best, this mare's going to take a lot of beating.
You've got horses that are at their top of their game, they're at their absolute peak, and they're ready for this. So, look, from a type or a fitness perspective, no, there wasn't a standout, but the reason why I'm putting our favourite on top of the 9 in Lise Gracheur is because she is just a consummate professional. Everything she has delivered.
Rest of the world here. This is just unprecedented with our Bet Easy book. It is. The punters are down today, and they've just all gone, righto, it's chips in. We're going to get it all back on this favourite here, Lise Gracheur. Into $2.80, completely dominates the betting. Castle Vecchio's come into $7.50, second favourite. 8 Mystic Journey. Magic Wanders into single figures at 9. Your exotics, you want to include the favourite because this is a massive go, as I've said a couple of times.
Just to tell US Cox Plate that they can find the right spot to watch this great race, and in many ways it's been billed as Japan versus the rest. There's the Irish mare in Magic Wand, and can the...
Ladbrokes Cox Plate ready to run, signal, and they're racing. Very Elegant missed the start by 2 lengths, and No Speed Dancer Tyria. Mystic Journey began really well, pushing forward with Magic Wand. Blackheart Bart the outside, and not too far away is Kluger, and also Castel Vecchio and Harlem on the fence. 2 lengths of Villiers, Cape of Good Hope. Very Elegant the inside. Then Lise Gracheur has been able to cross over, 1 off the fence and has 4 behind her. Dancer Tyria, Homesman, Kingsville Dream, and Tiakau Shark is at the end of the Dean Street side. 1,500 a run, and it's Black Heart Bart, the outside of Magic Wand. A length and a half away, Mystic Journey in the box seat third. Fourth, the rails is Harlem, followed by Kluger. Castel Vecchio, the outside of Avilius, 2 lengths. Cape of Good Hope, Very Elegant. They were followed by Lee Gracieux, covered up by Danceteria, pulling 3 deep. Then King's Will Dream. Well back is Homesman. Tiakau Shark is last. To the back section, 1,100 metres to run in the Cox Plate. Magic Wand in front by a neck to Blackheart Bart. 2 lengths to Mystic Journey, racing in isolation. A length and a half to Harlem 4, followed by Kluger. A length of Villiers and then Castel Vecchio. Next is Cape of Good Hope, the outside of Very Elegant. A length and a half Danceteria. Then Lee Gracieux, the outside of King's Will Dream. Well back Homesman. And Tiakau Shark is last on the top corner. 750 metres to go. Magic Wanders dictating by a neck. Blackheart Bart, every chance Mystic Journey. They were followed by Kluger. Satellite around the outside with Castel Vecchio. Avilius behind them from Cape of Good Hope, followed by Harlem. Lee Gracieux still got 4 behind her. Danceteria is trying to stoke up. Castel Vecchio moves up and takes the lead, approaching the turn at the 400. Castel Vecchio from Magic Wand, Blackheart Bart, Mystic Journey. They were followed by Danceteria, and Lee Gracieux is running on. Castel Vecchio into the straight at the 200. A length Magic Wand. Lee Gracieux down the outside. Castel Vecchio a length, but here comes Lee Gracieux. Lee Gracieux stomps up, and the land of the rising sun wins the Cox Plate. Lee Gracieux by a length and a half. Castel Vecchio. Tiakau Shark prominent for third with Magic Wand and Mystic Journey. The gap in the field, Blackheart Bart, Harlem, Avilius, Homesman, King's Will Dream. Behind them, Cape of Good Hope, Very Elegant. Towards the end, Kluger and Danceteria amongst the tail enders.
What an extraordinary win. And for Damian Lane, what an unbelievable 2019. He wins a Golden Slipper, he wins a Caulfield Cup, and he wins a Cox Plate. It's breathtaking. And at one stage, 600 metres out, he was in a world of pain. He extricated himself out. The 3-year-old shot clear in Castel Vecchio. Tiakau Shark has just defeated Magic Wand in for third. But it's all honours to a mighty mare, and the highest rated horse from Japan to come to Australia gives them a galloping lesson in the end with a French performance by a mighty mare.
How exciting was that to watch? That was breathtaking. Damian Lane back in the field. He needed to get out, and when he got out, Corey, he pushed the button, and what a response.
Amazing win, an amazing ride, because he was back at the field, and I'm thinking mid-race, what are you doing back there? But he obviously had so much confidence in the horse, knowing the horse back to front. When he peeled out, I would say the 7.
I don't often see him this excited, but we are today. Damien, 3 majors in a year. Not only are you making history, but you're a Cox Plate winner.
Yeah, unbelievable. To grow up as a racing fan, watching this race and watching my idols win this race, and to now be on the honour roll is just such a privilege.
Talk me through the race. You drew dreadful, but you went back, made your own luck.
Yeah, the pace was a lot stronger than I thought it would be to the first corner, and I just took my medicine, rode her back. She got a little bit keen when the pace came out of the race, but gee, I was confident once I got her out down the side. She just probably didn't get around the track that well, but was just too good anyway.
What else is in store?
I cannot believe how good it's been. I was just so well looked after. I was set up with a good translator there, Adam Harrigan, and I was set up with a very good trainer in Mr. Horry, and I just couldn't have hoped for things to go better. And for them to come out here and put the confidence in me to then put me on them when they come out here, it's just, I'm forever grateful.
Well, in that standard race, and it certainly rang true yesterday.
Yeah, it was. Well, it's not often you go to a sporting event. Well, when you go to a sporting event and you know, the expectations are built up and you get what you want to see, I think it's fantastic. I got a great buzz yesterday just from the atmosphere at the Valley. The roar of the crowd when you know, the Japanese raider, when she swept around them, and it was a great race to watch as well. We'll get through it later, but it had a lot of parts to it, and ultimately she was a very, very deserving winner, and it was just a fantastic day of racing, notwithstanding.
There was a number of horses that had qualified for a potential bonus. To the winner go the absolute spoils, because not only did she take out this Group 1 Hutchie, but $2 million added on top after, of course, winning the Tarazuka Kinnan back in June.
Yeah, look, it was a race where they rolled along at a good tempo. According to the daily sectionals, that first section, or the first part of the race to the 800-metre mark, there were 9 lengths ahead of standard. So Ryan Moore went forward on the galloper Magic Wand and set a good solid tempo. I think that up to the grades of performances of that galloper and Mystic Journey was huge. And gee, Corey, at this stage with Damien Lane opting to go back, he had a runner to his outside, and we were watching it together, and I was thinking it was a long way back. But
yeah, so especially going past the post first time, I thought he had her in an absolutely terrific position from the barrier that he drew. Next minute, he just seemed to be getting shuffled further and further back, and mid-race, I'm thinking, what are you doing back there, Damien? But he obviously knew the horse that he had beneath him. You know, he had no other option. He got shuffled back, but then he also had Jamie Spencer on the outside of him, leaning all over him. But in the blink of an eye, I looked up towards the leaders and then turned back to see where he was, and he was already on the move without, you know, even moving.
And as you said yesterday, 3 great rides. Craig Williams on Castlevecchio, his midfield, white colours, red circle there. Took off there. Great run. Opie Bossum on Tiago Sharp. Yeah. Awesome. But let's listen to the call. It was also a brilliant call.
Avilius behind them from Cape of Good Hope, followed by Harlem. Lee Grasseur's still got 4 behind her. Dancer Terrier's trying to stoke up. Castelvecchio moves up and takes the lead, approaching the turn at the 400. Castelvecchio from Magic Wand, Blackheart, Bart, Mystic Journey. They were followed by Dancer Terrier, and Lee Grasseur is running on. Castelvecchio into the straight at the 200. A length Magic Wand. Lee Grasseur down the outside. Castelvecchio a length. But here comes Lee Grasseur. Lee Grasseur stomps up, and the land of the rising sun wins the Cox Plate. Lee Grasseur...
Be forgiven for thinking we were watching a replay of the Caulfield Cup.
A bit like that, yeah. Well, look, the Cream did rise to the top. She was the best horse in the race, and I'm glad we got a good solid tempo, because it showed when you get fast races like that, the best do seem to raise the bar, and she was... I mean, I don't think she really handled the Valley that well, but God, she was impressive.
She had so much against her yesterday when you think about the position she was in the run, which we've already discussed and had a look at, and the fact that...
And this horse... She can race up on speed. I've not gone through a form, obviously, in Japan, and she can race up outside the leader, but he obviously knew the horse he had underneath him, and he barely even asked her to roll up the hill. Like, he pulled her out, exposed her, and give her a bit of daylight, and she just towed him up there.
Corey, confidence is everything for a jockey, yes. And I'd say that Damien Lane, his visit to Japan, he's come back, and in the back of his mind, I think he thinks and he knows that these horses have something up their sleeve.
Without a doubt. You know, it showed even in the Caulfield Cup ride. Like, he rode the horse. It was actually quite cheeky the way that he rode the horse in the Caulfield Cup, and again yesterday.
Almost with contempt.
100%. Yeah, oh, mate, he's
from a 2,000-metre point of view, exactly. I think we can say, OK, she hasn't won at the distance yet, but you're ticking that box.
Well, because they went so hard, and they were feeling the pinch, and then when the race compressed from the 8 to the 6 or 8 to the 400, that's when you can see this move. Great shots these, aren't they, the chopper shots, but that's where Castelvecchio went from. Normally, when I watched this live, I thought, well, they're not going to catch Castelvecchio, yeah. And then...
With that weight, I thought, same thing, I thought Craig had stolen it when he first skipped.
Matter of strides, she just picks up Castelvecchio, and she ran, Lee Grasseur ran, I think, the 8th best final 200 of the day off a very, very quick tempo. So, I mean, the time's back up what we saw.
Where does it put her now globally? And Jim will defer to you on this in a moment, but first, from your point of view, Hutch, where does this put this horse on a global scale?
Well, she's well-travelled and well-performed around the world anyway. She'd been in Hong Kong twice. Maybe they'll go back there. I think because they're talking about the fact she'll retire in March. So there's a couple of options. I'm not sure, Jim, if there's anything in Japan or not, but I would imagine they'll be happy to go back to Hong Kong, and maybe... There's some unfinished business there?
Yeah, unfinished business. She's been beaten twice there, but also run with credit both times. She was tipped as a good...
Excuses as well.
And Corey, Tiago Shark, the horse that you had earmarked in our locked and loaded competition.
Other options from the bad barrier, he went back, which he's always going to do. But from through to the half mile, if he takes off around him and goes with the rest of the runners, he finishes a nice midfield. But Opie was really, really smart in thinking, I'll just follow the fence, and he took all the shortcuts. It's a terrific ride, very, very good ride.
And with that, let's...
Craig Williams, Castelvecchio.
Wow, he's so awesome in defeat. The Japanese brought her right form. Credit to my trainer, Richard Litt. He did a great job. He was so confident that what we had on Tuesday morning, he's a serious racehorse when it comes to the blinkers on, and I love the way he put himself in a forward position. I actually had to come back just to get him to relax, because he's actually a little bit trying to overdo it. Got into a nice rhythm, travelled inside the 600, towed me there, and I thought, well, we'll make the Japanese mare see
believe she's as good as her form suggests, and unfortunately she was, but, well, credit to my horse. He's done a great job. He's going to be a starter of our carnivals to come.
Opie Boston, Tiakau Shark.
He ran a blinder. He got back from the draw and he made ground good late. Had to stay to the inside, so I couldn't get out. But all credit to him. It was a good run.
Thank you. Anthony Darman and Mystic Journey.
Yeah, she was super. I'm proud of her. She did everything right. She travelled beautiful in the run. Just on the corner, just didn't really like the going. It was a little bit choppy and she didn't find her footing for another 50 metres and come again late. I was really proud of her. I think she went really good. Thanks.
Hugh Bowman, Kingswell Dream.
Couldn't have asked for a better run in transit. I just didn't have the engine that I'm accustomed to, but I was very pleased with him.
Kerry McAvoy, Avilius.
He travelled around there nicely. I was really happy with the way he went and moved into a striking position on the corner. Just levelled out the last furlong. Just found it a little bit strong from there today.
Love Hugh Bowman's comment. I think definitely downgraded vehicles. No disrespect to Kingswell Dream.
It'll be a while before he finds another one too.
Yeah. And on that,
in the Caulfield Cup and the Cox Plate, and who's to say they won't make it the big three?
Incredible, incredible. And I know we always talk about Hugh Bowman's and we're the big time jockeys. Is he just about ready to take over this young man, Damian Lane? You know, we sort of. Probably a world-class mare there in Lise Grisot, but he's definitely a world-class jockey.
He's 24, Lizzie, and he is about to, if he can win the Melbourne Cup, do something that no jockey has ever done. In a calendar year, win the Grand Slam. He won the Golden Slipper on Kiamichi, the Caulfield Cup on Murder Glass, now the Cox Plate. And if he wins the Melbourne Cup, he joins 7 other elite jockeys to win the 4, but he's going to do it in 1 year.
Yeah, it's incredible. He's such a top gear at the one, well, not even top gear, when she just dropped down a gear at the 150 and lengthened, and the way that she put a really, really good 3-year-old away was just poetry in motion. She is a proper racehorse, and it was lovely to see.
We're going to come back late, this marvellous mare, Lise Grisot. Another mare wins it, and as we picked them up, the Sydney 3-year-old Castelvecchio gave a great sign.
He certainly did, and didn't he travel well on the run? On first glance, you know, you can get things wrong when you look at a race live, and I thought, oh, geez, he's gone early on this. He's gone early on this, Williams. But when you get home and look at it, it was a pretty good ride. It was a pretty good ride. He went at the right time, tried to catch them napping. He's a 3-year-old with no weight. We thought he was strong, so yeah, he was given every opportunity. She's just a beautiful mare, this. It didn't look like she even handled the track. I don't think he's touched her yet.
Look at that action.
Yeah, she wanted to hang and not get round the bend, and he, like I said, he hasn't even slapped her with the whip.
No, she's just lengths above our weight for age horses. That's a proper weight for age horse. Just going back to Castelvecchio, I mean, he's doing all of this as a spring 3-year-old, and we know him really well. You've always said autumn, he's going to be an absolute, you know, autumn's going to be his peak. That's when you're going to see him fill out more. And like his father, he's going to be a perfect Queen Elizabeth Stakes horse. He is the horse to follow out of the spring, just from my perspective, looking at him developing into an autumn 3-year-old, and I can't wait to see him. Tiakau Shark, he's put another bold performance.
What a beautiful ride by Bossum. He drew the outside barrier, he just rode. It was just a beautiful ride on the 3rd horse, and he franked that colding form. We're talking of form lines leading into next week, so he was excellent. Well, what do you want to say about the rest? Magic Wand kept whacking away there. Mystic Journey was beautifully ridden as well, and she probably she should have had a harder run leading in to that race. It's easy to say now, but she didn't have the hard, toughen-up run leading into that Cox Plate that she needed. But she still wouldn't have beat the winner anyway, just a class above them.
It's just been a total domination since they've arrived.
Up and say, oh, there's a real margin between our weight for age horses at the moment. I mean, what's slightly frustrating is that they didn't bring her last year, you know, or the week, or it was the timing wasn't there with Winks being there, and you can test our best against one of their best. That would have been.
You would love to see them clash, wouldn't you?
You would have, absolutely.
Because there weren't many in the world that could clash with her.
Exactly, and looking at that, it would have been a mighty competitive race. There's going to be some in the Winks corner, there's going to be some in Lise Grisot's corner, but we're never going to know. But that's the sort of, we're saying at the moment, we're going to have a lull, you know, with our weight for age horses. It is a concern, our stay as our weight for age horses, but that's what we've probably got to look at doing.
Oh, well, it's just
another tough assignment trying to work out the Melbourne Cup now because there's more of them.
Well, it could be